It's like 2 in the morning. Excuse the hair. This is crazy and really random. I went to go sit down and read the book I'm reading, which is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. And I ended up actually reading the whole first volume of Yona of the Dawn online. And then I had a crazy idea. And I was like, what if I just read a volume a day? There are so many people that I love that love Yona of the Dawn. And I've been like trying to get into manga for a while. And I keep failing. Like I was reading Monster and I loved it. And then I just fell off. And I was reading Hell's Paradise before that. And that was like too action-y for me because it's so hard for me to understand like fight scenes in manga. What is this? Like they're all drumming. So I had been wanting to pick up Yona of the Dawn. And I just randomly read the whole first volume right now. And it was great. I don't know if I should do spoilers. I think I'm going to have to do spoilers. Sorry, guys. Spoiler vlog. I'll do chapters for each volume. So if you're not caught up, then you can watch to wherever you're at. If you're watching this just for fun and you don't mind this whole thing being spoiled, hey, I'm glad you're here. Oh, also, welcome back to my channel. I'm Annie, and I don't usually read manga, actually, but I really want to be a manga girly. I'm working on it. So basically, in Yona of the Dawn, we've got this girl, Yona. She's so slay. She's so cool, but she has red hair, and she's like, why is my hair so ugly? And it's like, Miss Girl, like, you look incredible. Would you stop, okay? Yona's got a bodyguard named Hawk. I'm gonna call him Hawk. I will look up pronunciation later. And then a cousin called Suwon. And they're both guys. And she has been in love with her cousin for a time, like since she was a kid, okay? I'm letting it slide because it's a weird fantasy setting. And something happens to just knock that out of the water. It's her 16th birthday. She's kind of spoiled. At first, when Hawk was introduced, she was like complaining to her father about her hair, and Hawk was there. He was like, there's nothing wrong with your hair, but there's something wrong with your face. And I was like, that was the worst insult. Could you not think of anything better? I was like, seriously? Because I could feel, I was like, he's dark, he's mysterious. He's giving like edgy bodyguard. So I was like, there's gonna be something going on. But I was like, seriously, that's a horrible compliment. Okay? I mean, horrible insult. And so I thought that she like actually hated him because she's like, Dad, why won't you fire him? Like, he's just so mean to me and he's so annoying. And her dad's like the king. He's like, bro, you guys are friends. And I was confused. Anyway, then she finds out Suwon is coming because it's her birthday in a week and he's like gonna be there for the celebration. And she's like, no, I spent hours getting ready this morning, but how could you not have prepared me for this? So then she goes to like prepare more. And sorry, you guys don't need a full breakdown like this, but basically, yeah, she sees Suwon. She's like, oh my God, I'm literally obsessed with him. Things are going, whatever. Gets to her birthday night, right? She's talking to Suwon and she's like, I have feelings for you, but my daddy won't let me marry you because you also have royal blood and like, I don't know, some shit with that, okay? And he's like, I like you too. And he gives her this hairpin and says that her hair is the color of the dawning sun. Hence the name Yona of the Dawn. And she's like heart eyes and is obsessed, okay? She's obsessed. She's like, oh my God, we're in love now. Wow. So she runs to her father's room like an hour or two later. I would assume there's a little time gap. And this is like on the night of her birthday. And she opens his door because she wants to go to him and be like, but Daddy, I love him. Like, let me marry Suwon. He's so perfect, blah, blah, blah. And she walks in and Suyeon has just stabbed her father through the fucking chest. What do you mean? What do you mean? I know that was the end of the first chapter, and I'm sure that so many other people have gotten that spoiler before. I actually thought this was going to be like an extended love triangle sort of thing. Like, I knew that she left the castle and had to go on some sort of journey. But I was like, oh, that's her squad. It's like the two of them because they've always been friends, all three of them. What do you mean he kills her dad? And it turns out that the king, who like Yona calls a coward, like that's literally your father, girl. Shut up. But he's like known for being super peaceful. But Suwon is like, he gives this whole villain monologue and he's like, yeah, your dad killed my dad. So like his brother. And so I'm here avenging my father's death. And I'm gonna be king now. Part of it is that also Suwon's dad was like the firstborn and a military guy. So everyone was like, why did the king then let the younger son ascend to the throne when he doesn't even fight? Like, he's just kind of like bubbly. That's the thing, is in this translation, I don't know if this is like, I feel like this might just be a translation thing. Hawk says that the king is bubbly, and I swear he says it like 10 times. He's like, hey, you bubbly man. And I'm like, what is going on? So then Yona's like, but Suwon, I thought you would never... What do you mean? What do you mean? She's devastated. Okay, she's devastated. Her dad just died, and the man she's in love with did it. And she's been in love with him since he was a kid. Like, they had all these weird moments as kids. Like, her mom died, and he was basically like, I'm gonna take care of you now. And he would sleep with her every night, not in a sexy way, but they would just hold hands and, like, sleep next to each other. And then she fell in love. To be fair, how could you not? How could you not when that sort of thing is happening? Anyway, it turns out like all the guards in the castle are basically just on Suwon's side, except for this one guy. Hawk comes in and saves Yona because he's obsessed with her. This guy's been stalking her, but he's like, she's so in love with Suwon, it's not even funny. I don't have a chance. I'm going to protect her. And also I love the king and I'm going to serve him. So I'm loyal. So he comes in, he tries to fight them all and like save Yona's life. They get away somehow. And then they're on the run. And then this one other guy, Minsu, is like the only other loyal guard at the castle. And he helps them escape. And then now they're on the run. And we started learning a little bit more about their backstories and like their childhood together. And it's so good. I'm in love with Hawk. I'm in love. Like, he's so sweet. He's very much like, I'll protect her. I'll do anything for her, which... I go either way on. Like, sometimes I love that. Sometimes I really hate it. But when he does it, it's like, you can tell he knows her really well. It's like friends to lovers. And I'm obsessed with that trope. I love that. And they're like childhood friends to lovers. How sweet is that? Come on. The angst as well. The angst. Like, Suwon gave her this hairpin, right? And they're in the woods and like she drops it somewhere. And he finds it and he like keeps it, but he's almost like angry with her because he's like, this guy killed your father, why are you holding on to this of all things, right? And then she panics later because she can't find it, and he's like, fine, go, I don't know where you're going, but go on. And then he follows her and then she runs into a den of vipers, and then he like saves her and he like picks her up and he's like, these snakes don't bother me. One of them literally bites him and he's like, I've been treated in how to cure myself from poison snakes. And I'm like, how could you get any hotter? What do you mean? It's like it's like in The Princess Bride. He's so Wesley. He's like, I've actually built up an immunity to iocane powder.
I spent the last few years building up an immunity to iocane powder.
But he's just so sweet about her. And I love it. I'm also really looking forward to, I think Yona's gonna have a little girl boss moment in a nice way, because she's like interested in swords and fighting and stuff. Her father was always like, we're pacifists, we don't need weapons, and also you're a girl. So I think that she's going to develop a lot of it as a character. I think she's like a feminist icon from what I have heard, and I'm waiting for that because right now she's very much spoiled doll, doesn't do anything. Like, she's so like racked by grief. She's like a damsel. Like, she's like, we get it almost from like Hawk's point of view when they're in the forest for the first few days. She's not eating or sleeping or speaking. I have to lead her by the hand everywhere. Like, she was like a zombie. I'm waiting for her to like snap out of that a little bit. But the way that the volume ends is that they're going to go to the like Wind Tribe city. So apparently there's like the kingdom. I don't know too much about it yet, but But there's like the king, and then there's these different tribes. I know that for sure that there's fire and wind, so I'd assume there's also water and earth. But Hawk is like an orphan that was taken in by the wind tribe. But I guess he was so slight that they like wanted him to be like the new head, like the successor, the heir to the wind tribe. And I still think that could have been in his plans, but he was like offered to be Yona's bodyguard, and he liked her so much he said yes, even though he was torturing himself because she was so into Suwon. He's down bad. That's so sad. That's so sad. Yeah, so they're heading off to his hometown. So I'm excited to see more of the world. I want to know more about Hawk's backstory. He seems to have a really complicated relationship with like the head of the tribe, who he's not related to obviously because he's an orphan, but he calls him like grandpa. But it seems like they have a bit of like a strained relationship. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm just so excited to read it more. My goal is a volume a day until I catch up. I don't even know how many volumes are out right now. I think at least 40. So get prepared for a long video. But I want to see if I can make that goal. I feel like I'm usually really bad with things like this. No, I'm going to make it happen. It only takes like what, an hour most to read a volume of manga. I should be fine. So yeah, I'll check in with you guys tomorrow when I've read volume 2. Bye.
落ち着いて2人で支えますからでも姫様の重みで間もなく白は絶命張り倒すわよ大丈夫馬好きでしょ好きよ
I've started volume 2 while I'm doing nair on my mustache, and we are how many pages in? We're 10 pages in and Yona has already fainted. Like, Miss Girl, you gotta get better. You gotta back to reading. Bro, this is getting so good already. I'm not done with the second volume yet. I probably only have a little bit left, but I'm on chapter 9. Basically, Yona and Hawk they went to the Wind Tribe village, and everyone there was so sweet to Yona. And Hawk has a little brother that is just, he's so cute. It's like a big family, and Yona has just been like, someone asked her to like wash some clothes, and she was like, how do I do that? So yeah, Miss Girl is not prepared at all for like life outside the castle. I'm so sorry, my hands are so shaky. Hawk and her have all these cute like little squabbles, and then Hawk basically we find out that the fire people are teamed up with Suwon and working with him, and they get intelligence that like Yona and Hawk are in Fuga, I don't know, the Wind Tribe village. And also Mundak, Hawk's like grandpa, is at this council meeting with Suwon, and he's like standing up and saying like, I'm not going to support you as king. And I think Suwon needs all 5 votes, like from the 5 different generals, to become king. And Suwon's trying to say that Hawk killed the king and then kidnapped Yona. Horrible. And Mundak is standing up for him. And then Mundak goes back to the Wind Tribe, and Hawk decides to leave. The Fire Tribe has started to do things like cut off their water sources and stuff like that, and he wants to protect his tribe. So he decides to leave and like go without Yona so that she'll be safe, and like he wants to like draw them away from her and like let the blame fall on him, and he steps down as general. And then Yona's there, and she like realizes how amazing the people of the village are, and she decides like, I can't just stay here and endanger them all. So she looks for Hawk to go away with him, and she finds out he's already leaving, and she's like, what? Take me with you. And he's like, no, you can be safe here. And she's like, no, I want to stay with you. And it's so sweet. And as they've been leaving, they're off to find this priest that can like tell their fortune and like help them with the future and stuff that Mundak like sent them to. I'm sorry, I promise there won't be too many more shaky camera clips in this. I'm gonna really try to avoid that. They get ambushed by these Fire Tribe people, and Hawk gets shot with a poison arrow while protecting Yona. And then he goes back out and fights. He's like, Yona, hide here. And she decides to fight. She has no experience. She's like, okay, just wait here. He'll come back. I have to trust this. And then she sees like this guy aiming an arrow at Hawk. And then she's like, no, that's wrong. For what reason did I leave Capital Fuga? To live a meaningless life with Hawk protecting me? If that were the case, then I should have stayed at Capital Fuga. If this goes on, I will only hold Hack down. What will I do if Hawk is no longer around? Am I going to remain powerless, give up, and continue doing nothing? Before I ask God, like the priest, that is something I ought to ask myself first. And then she runs and pushes the guy over. Yes, this is the beginning of Yona being a girl boss. Come on, she's going to be active. She's going to be like a warrior. And I can't wait. And also, something that kind of surprised me, Hawk is so bold. Like, he's already really flirting with Yona. Like, it's been a week since she found out about Suwon's betrayal and, like, her father died. And he's like, oh, do you have anything to offer me when you come with me on this trip? No, you're, like, useless. And then he's like, or are you gonna, like, give your body to me? I was like, Hawk, first off, calm down. That was a little bit weird. But then, like, a couple pages later, he's, like, warning her that they're going to these really cold mountains. And he's like, what will you do? It's going to be cold. And she's like, I'll just cuddle up next to you when we sleep. And then he's like, well, I might do something naughty. And I'm like, Hawk, chill out. But then he, like, comes up to her and, like, almost, like, kisses her neck or something. And it was hot. It was hot. But I'm also like, Hawk, I don't know if I love how forward you're being, but at the same time I do ship you too. But like, maybe like let her breathe for a minute. I mean, I know you've known her for a long time. My feelings are all over the place, but I'm really enjoying this. And I've also started watching this series. I just finished the second episode, and I know that it's only like 12 episodes or something like that. I'm really enjoying that too. I just think it brings it to life in such a nice way, especially action scenes and stuff like that. And I'm getting a little bit more background that I'm not getting in the manga so far. So interesting. Guys, no, it's literally chapter 10. It's chapter 10. It's the next chapter. Fuck off. Oh my god, this is so good. Okay, so Yona's standing up against this fire tribe guy, and side note that I didn't mention earlier, he kind of tried to, like, assault her. Not even kind of, he tried to sexually assault her in the first book, and Hawk came and saved her. So basically this guy, like, Yona comes out, he's the guy that was gonna shoot the arrow at Hawk. Yona comes out, she, like, pushes him so that he doesn't shoot the arrow. Hawk comes out and is like, Yona, why are you being so dumb? I told you to wait. And this guy, I wish I could remember his name. He's such a dick. He pushes Hawk off this cliff edge. Hawk is, like, hanging by a hand, right? And he's about, like, this fire tribe guy is about to kill Hawk. And Yona goes to save him. The guy grabs her by the hair. And she takes his sword and cuts off her hair, cutting off, like, the grip. And then she goes and saves Hawk. Oh, I don't know. I'm just loving Yona right now. And I wasn't feeling that at all in the first volume. So this is making me very happy. And she's just so determined. And I love that. Oh my god. I'm already obsessed. I actually lied. She doesn't pull him back up. They both fall off the cliff. I just kind of assumed that wouldn't happen like that. Bro, this is so good. Also, sorry about the jazz. I swear, like, it's kind of nice, I guess. But whoever lives over there, my neighbor, plays all kinds of instruments, and I think they're having band practice or something. Hi. Crazy hair. I swear it's actually the next day, but I just have a habit of, I just kind of rewear pajamas, like, for a while. I finished Yona of the Dawn volume 3. Also, I don't think I, like, kind of wrapped up yesterday. So I loved volume 2. I gave that one 5 stars. The first one I gave 4.5, and then the third one I've also given 4.5. There was just something so great about the second volume, because it was like Yona really coming into her power for the first time. God, my hair is bugging me. That does not look better. In the third volume, we get to meet some more characters. I mean, we kind of meet Yoon and Iksu, the priest, at the very end of volume 2, but in this volume we actually get like their personalities and such. And I love Yoon so much. I can just tell he's gonna be one of my favorite characters. Like, he's so sarcastic and like rude, but really like dedicated to the people he cares about and like loves Iksu so much. He's like a secret softie, and I just love that. So I'm excited to see like his character progression. And then they learn about this prophecy. So there was lots of like kind of world building in this volume, which was really cool. So we learn how like the whole kingdom started, and we learn about the dragons, which we know what I'm talking about if you've read these. Basically, they set off on their quest to go find the... My voice is so gone I couldn't even like squeal properly when that happened. Scream? I don't know. I was out till 8 a.m. last night. 8 in the morning. Why did I do that? I mean, it was a really good night. A bit random, but it was fun. But I've been shattered all day. So yeah, so they're setting off on their quest, and then they go to this dragon village. Also, Yona starts to learn how to use the bow and arrow, and she's slaying that. And she and Hawk are just like constantly bickering, and it's so cute. But then there are little moments where like he almost like always, he kind of like will come really close to her, and it's like they might kiss. And then it doesn't happen. There was a scene in this volume where I feel like he was going to kiss her, and he was sick because of like they fell off this cliff. And I feel like Hawk is gonna somehow get like revealed that he has the blood of dragons in him or something like that. I know that sounds bizarre, and actually I don't think it would work, so maybe not. But there's something about Hawk. I'm getting so annoyed with myself. Take a shot every time I say Hawk wrong. There's like something superhuman about him where like he just healed like overnight or in a couple days from this crazy fall, and also getting pierced by a poison arrow. He's like sick, and he goes almost to like kiss Yona, and then she bumps her forehead into his, and then it's like they both like go back and they're like, ow. And then she was like, I thought you wanted me to check your temperature, so I was gonna put my forehead to your forehead. And it's like, girl, he was trying to kiss you. Like, get a clue. We meet Rija? The guy with the dragon hand. I really like him as well. I'm interested to see how he develops. I'm really excited about the whole like found family aspect of this series, which I think is going to be really strong. Because, I mean, I'm going to say Rija. I think it's Rija. Rija has had a really hard life. Like, he's very privileged, but it seems like very isolating, because he was always like, they just really want to protect the dragon bloodline in his tribe. And so they like think he's like blessed by the gods, which, well, he is. And they just do everything to protect him. And he's like been waiting for this like master to come his whole life. But he also was like, they haven't come in centuries. There's not been a need for like my power in centuries. So I'm probably just like a vessel to continue the bloodline. And like to have to like, I don't even want to think about all the like the breeding and stuff that they have to do, like in terms of like ensuring the bloodline. Like that's just so rough. So he's sort of like, yay, my time is now. But I want to know more about like his backstory and his time growing up. His relationship with his grandma also is so cute. The grandma is adorable. I'll put a picture here. I teared up a little bit when they all left and she was saying goodbye. And apparently Yoon cried too, because then his eyes were all red. and we found out that he cried. But of course, he like won't admit it. Really loving it. Excited for tomorrow. I'm proud of myself so far. I know it's just been 3 days, but like, I really hope I can actually read a volume a day. I don't think it's gonna be too hard.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I want to be consistent with it. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Hello, here I am again. It is the next day. I just finished volume 4 of Yona of the Dawn. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit dead today. I was supposed to do things. I didn't do them. I stayed in all day except for I went to the Asian supermarket and I got so much stuff. I got too much stuff because I'm supposed to be on a bit more of a budget, but I was craving Asian food. So I'm just gonna live off ramen for the next 4 days. Anyway, volume 4, really good again. Probably another 4.5 for this one. This story of, what is his name? It's the blue dragon. It says on this wiki that his name is Shin-a, but right now I think his name is like Siru or something like that. Like it's the official name of the dragon. We don't know his real name yet, and I think he's gonna name himself. But his backstory is so sad. Like he apparently is like Medusa, where if you look him in the eye, like you'll turn to stone. And apparently his power like killed a whole bunch of people when he was just 4 years old. But they didn't look like they were turned into stone, though it's hard to tell when it's like black and white manga. So we'll see, because he just took off his mask. So this one actually ended with a big cliffhanger. I might read the first chapter of volume 5 tonight, or I could do 2 volumes. I don't really know, because I also really want to just play Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. I just can't wait to see what happens next. I'm loving the group dynamic. Also, I didn't realize that this was like reverse harem, because I think they're all going to be in love with Yona. All 4 of them, and then Hawk. And then Yoon, I feel like, is gay. It's just a vibe I'm getting. I feel like Yoon's going to meet someone. At first, I thought Yoon was in love with Iksu, the priest, but then it turns out he's like 33 and then Yoon is like 15. So that's not exactly... It's more of a father-son or like older brother type of vibe, I think. Anyway, yeah, I didn't realize that they would all be in love with Yona, but I'm kind of obsessed with that. And I love Yona. I'm glad that she had a little moment in this one where she fired an arrow during a battle and it like struck the guy. So she's growing every day. And yeah, I'm loving the dynamics. It's so much fun. And I'm really loving the anime as well. It just kind of helps me, like watching the anime after I read it kind of helps me, like it reminds me of things I might have missed. Especially, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The action sequences, it helps a lot. Sorry, it helps a lot with understanding those. And like when I saw like Hawk in action, for instance, I fully realized how actually powerful his character is supposed to be. So it's really sad that it's only 24 episodes. Although I did originally think it was 12. So now I've found out it's 24. And I'm a little bit happier. I think I'm on episode... What episode am I on? I think I'm on episode 6. So Yona's just about to like cut off her hair type of thing in this one. But yeah, I'm really loving it. I'll update you guys more tomorrow. Hey, day 5, I did it. I read volume 5 of Yona of the Dawn, and honestly, I'm just obsessed with this series now. I'm obsessed. I think about it all the time. I joined the Reddit last night. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Also, I am the most battered person at the minute. I also went to a play today, and on my way home, I twisted my ankle, which happens to me quite frequently because I have a really weak ankle, and I skinned my hand and my knee. Like, I just been through the ringer. But anyway, I love the 5th volume. I am obsessed with the blue dragon. What's his name? Shin-yu, I think. It means moonlight. And then we meet, is it the green dragon? That is Jae-ha. I swear I'm going to get better with the names, guys. I also realized I fully filmed a clip and was calling Kiju? Kija? Never mind. Anyway, I'm bad with the names, so I'm gonna get those down. But yeah, I like the Green Dragon pirate guy because if you have been watching this channel, you know how much I love pirates. And also his whole thing about how he doesn't want to serve some master and he just wants to be free is so me.
I don't know if you can handle it, but I'm not like other girls.
I feel like I don't really have it together today. But yeah, I think it makes sense. Like Kija's whole thing of like he's so devoted and this is what he's been training for his whole life, like I think that makes sense. But to me, I resonate more with like Jeha, where he's like, I just don't, why would I do that? That doesn't sound appealing to me, to like live my life for someone else type of thing. And so they still haven't like convinced him to join the squad, but they will. And also this one had so many like funny little moments. Like I just love the whole dynamic of the gang. Like there was the moment where Heja and Hawk go to a brothel. Yona and Yoon like see Hawk there and they're like, Hawk, what are you doing here? And he's like, no, I swear I came with my friend. And then he looks and Heja's just gone and has like jumped away. And Yona's all, it's fine if you want to go to a brothel, like it's okay. And he's just like, no, I swear. And then I swear there's also so much homoerotic tension in this manga. Like, tell me why. Like, I swear Yoon is gay. And then Heja is so like, you know who's so cool? Hawk. And he's so beautiful. And then he goes to Hawk and he's like, I want you. And what he means is like, he wants him to be like a pirate on the ship. And Hawk's just like, I don't swing that way. I swear if there's not anything gay actually happening in this manga, I will be annoyed. Even though it wouldn't, I still love the manga, but like why have all the gay tension without the gays? I just feel like we need to see that. Loving it. So I will update you guys again tomorrow. Also, we still don't know really what Shinyu's power is, but I think it got spoiled for me actually by watching the anime, because now that I remember, I think he like has a combustion thing in his forehead, like Combustion Man from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is lame, but he's just so cute. He has my whole heart. So yeah, update you guys tomorrow with volume 6. Oh my god, no, I actually forgot. I went to Waterstones today and I wanted to buy Yona of the Dawn so bad. And I went with my friend and they did not have a single volume of Yona. And I was annoyed, but it's also probably for the best because I am moving in like a couple months and I should, like, now is just simply not the time to be buying 43 volumes of manga, even though that's kind of what my heart is telling me I should do. Just stay. Sorry, this one has been a little bit of a chaotic update, but yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow and update you guys on volume 6. Hi, so I have some bad news. It is 2 days later and all I've read is Yona of the Dawn volume 6 in the past 2 days. Let me explain. Basically, I've been a bit ill and I have also been busy. Like, I've been needing to apply for part-time jobs and stuff like that. And so I keep ending up, like, the last 2 nights, it'll be really late and I need to go to bed, but I need to read Yona of the Dawn. And don't get me wrong, I'm really excited to do that, but I made it halfway through volume 6 2 nights ago and I was like, I'm so ill, I have to go to bed. And that was kind of the same thing last night. So today, luckily, I am working at this help desk at my uni. That's like my job. Although I don't work there very often. It should be super quiet because I think most people are done with exams. So I should be able to read while I'm on shift. So that's my plan. I'm gonna read volume 7 and 8 while I'm on shift and then I will be caught up. But yeah, it's just been a little bit hard. Just in general, being a little bit ill. And it's not like ill to where I'm like actually bedbound, but it's like I need to sleep a lot, my throat is sore, like sometimes it hurts to talk kind of thing. So I just need to rest and recover. Anyway, volume 6 was really good, 4.5 stars. So basically this volume was all preparation for the gang, and I think her name is Jigan, the grandma pirate captain that Jaeha works for. They are all going to take down this human trafficking ring in Awa. It's kind of a dark subject matter and not really what I was expecting based on like the whole like rest of the tone of the manga, but I really am enjoying this storyline because it's really showing Yona's strength. Like, she had so many good moments in this volume. She and the gang go to Jigan. Let me just make sure of her name so I'm not just saying it wrong. Yeah, Jigan. Okay, so basically at the end of volume 5, the gang went over to Jigan's ship and Yona was like, I want to help, because everyone else kind of like has a job, you know, like Yoon's gonna help with the injured people, and then like the dragons and a hawk can all fight, and Yona can fight too with the bow and arrow, but she's still very much like beginning, and even so, like she wouldn't be in like direct combat. And Jigan kind of just looks at her and is like, you want to help? And she's like, yeah, obviously I want to help. Like I need to help these people. I can't just stand by and like not do anything while people in this kingdom are being abused. She basically realizes that Awa was like this before her father died, and it's still like this now. So the whole time Yona is kind of grappling with the way that her kingdom was not as perfect as she always assumed based on her like pampered, really sheltered life. And a lot of people didn't like her father. And so she is dealing with that. I know that at one point, I think it is in Awa, there's someone that is kind of like starving or they're not doing well, and they're basically just saying, I hate the king because he didn't help and he did this and this. And Yona's having to listen to that. And she very much like validates that person's feelings, but then she goes off and cries. And it's like, I'm really liking that we're seeing her kind of wrestle with like grief over her father, but also not really knowing what kind of king he was like because she was just so out of the loop. Lots of things are happening that are really good. Side note, I really want to see more of Suwon soon, because I know he's going to be more complex than just like a villain, because we keep getting little hints about like he like actually does care about Yona and Hawk, like duh. So I'm excited to see where that goes, but we didn't get any of him in volume 6. Jigan sends Yona on this task that everyone's like, no way, that's impossible. And it's to get this herb from, I think it's called like the Floating Isle. And it's basically just these really, really sheer, like steep cliffs that are racked by wind and waves in the sea. So she has to go and climb on this tiny little ledge and then go into a little crack and get these plants. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that. And like, if I can't do it, then that's fine. At least I tried. You know what I mean? Jaeha goes with her to like protect, like to watch over her, but he's not supposed to help. And she does it, and she gets almost all the way back, and then she's like like a big wave hits, and then she's hanging from the cliff edge, and she tells Jaeha not to help her because she's like, no, I need to do this on my own. That was the rule, like I have to do it. And then he helps her up. She goes back, and Jaeha's like, you don't have to tell Jigan I helped you. Like, we can just say that it, like, you did it on your own. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So she goes back and she's like, no, Jaeha helped me. And she's honest about it. And Jigan is so impressed with her regardless, and so is everyone else. And then like a little bit over halfway into this volume, I would say, maybe like 75% in, they are trying to make a plan for invading this guy. I think his name is Kumji. They're gonna invade his ship because he's like shipping out all of the women that he's captured to go sell. They don't know which of his ships are going to hold the women, so they don't want to attack that one, or at least they don't want to attack it as heavily, like they might invade it. Yona's like, oh, would it help if I sent up a flare from the ship? And they were like, yeah, but then you'd have to get on the ship. And she was like, yeah, I'll get on the ship. I'll just like go undercover. Miss Girl, you're going undercover as a human trafficking victim? I love her so much. I love her so much. God, Yona's insane. And I'm obsessed with, basically, I was watching Murphy Napier's video about Yona of the Dawn. I'll link it below, but it's such a good review. I think there are light spoilers in that, but if you're watching this, you are watching with heavy spoilers, so you can watch that. But she has such a great review, and she points out that Yona is like very feminine while at the same time being strong. So she's not like girl bossified and like given heavily masculine traits in the way that strong female characters normally are. Like she's not cruel or abrasive, and she doesn't like, you know what I mean? When she goes out on the cliffs to get that herb, like she is shaking and she's crying and she's terrified. And then she does it anyway. Oh, I just love that. I love that about her. And that's something that Murphy also points out. So yeah, I was thinking a lot about that while I was reading this section. Yeah, I've talked for way too long. That was 10 minutes. I'm gonna read volume 7 and 8 and I'll get back to you guys later today. Later in the day now. I'm home from work and I finished volume 7 and 8 of Yona of the Dawn, and they're so good. Volume 7 is a 5 and I think volume 8 is a 4.5. So I'm gonna get into what I thought of each of them. So in terms of volume 7, basically this volume is when Yona and Jigan and all the pirates and the dragons attack Kumji, the human trafficker guy. Yona is insane and she's amazing, and she not only like protects all the women, she gets beaten to a pulp. Mind you, again, she grew up like pampered in this castle, and then she manages to actually kill the guy running the ring. So I'm so proud of her. I just love her so much. And then I get this really cute like after party scene where everyone's drinking and like having fun. I like that this series like takes time to breathe. Like it is not a typical shoujo or shoujo manga where it's like all fun and no action. It's kind of like a mix. And I would say the romance is not even a really big part. Like everyone's always just flirting with Yona, and that's kind of just how it is. But Yona is very unaware. So also Yona runs in to Suwon like the day after this party, and I was shocked. I did not know why he was there. I was confused. I was like, I think I have a clip. I was literally at work and I like took a video of myself because I was like, what is happening? What is happening? Obviously that really affected her, and she like tried to kill him with his sword, but she couldn't. And he basically like hid her in his cloak to protect her from like the generals working with him. So, you know, clearly he is conflicted. I mean, we've known this. And then I also started tearing up at work because Jigan is like a surrogate mother to Yona, and obviously to Jaeha and to all the pirates as well. But like Yona never had a mom, and you can tell how much she cares about Jigan, and like she cries when she has to leave. Everyone actually cries when they have to leave, and it's all so cute. The last chapter of volume 7 was so cute. It was just like, it was almost like, you know how in manga sometimes there'll be a little mini bit like a skit or something, or like an imaginary situation at the beginning of a chapter, just like a couple pages. It kind of felt like that, but then it was the whole chapter, and it's just like this random subplot where I don't think it's really gonna get developed further. I really can't imagine it would, where apparently one of the white dragon's scales fell off, and then like someone gave it to Yoon and was like, here, it's a love potion. And then the guys are all trying to use it to make Yona fall in love with them, except for Yoon, who just wants to like study it. Antics ensue. So Kija accidentally takes some of the love potion and looks at Yona, like that's the first person he sees. And Kija would never make a move on Yona because he's very much like, she is my master, I respect her, you know what I mean? Like Jaeha and Hawk are just horny and they just want to be with Yona. I mean, for Hawk it's not as much he's horny. You know, he actually likes her, but Jaeha's just really horny. And then Kija would never get with Yona, and then who even knows what Sheena is feeling because he doesn't talk, but I love him. So Kija starts flirting with Yona, and he like apologizes for it after, and it's like, oh my god, I took this weird drug. And Yona's like, no, it's okay. And then she's sitting next to Hawk and she's like, to be honest, it made my heart flutter a little. I've never been pursued so passionately by a man. And Hawk is like, oh, so should I pursue you like that? And Yona's like, no, silly, like you have to do that with someone you like. Miss girl. She's honestly not thinking about men though, and it's so understandable. I mean, she's 16. Actually, no, when I was 16, I was boy crazy. But like, she has other priorities. She cannot be bothered. Anyway, loved Volume 7. Volume 8, I have one major problem with, and this is actually kind of a problem with the beginning of the series as a whole. I just think some things in the beginning are a little bit convenient and they're happening too quickly. Like, we need to get our team assembled, and we do that by the end. Well, actually by like the first chapter in Volume 8. Basically, the yellow dragon just appears literally out of nowhere, like falls out of a tree and is like, hey guys.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
And his name is Zeno. He's so cute. I love him. I feel like he's probably like Yoon's age, like 15, but he's giving baby. I feel like he knows what his powers are because he's clearly the yellow dragon, but I don't really know. All we know about the yellow dragon is that he has like a strong body. I think battle needs to happen to like awaken that, or something needs to happen. But he literally just falls out of a tree. And I'm like, I'm sorry. This is way too convenient. When they found Kija, that was too convenient. But I mean, it does fit with his character that like, yeah, he's been training his whole life. He's like excited. He's like, basically, Kija is like a kiss ass. Like he's like the goody two shoes at school. Okay, so it makes sense that it would be that easy. But at the same time, like when I read that, I was like, okay, this is like, it's all happening very easily. And with Zeno, I was like, this is actually getting ridiculous. But I can understand that like sometimes maybe a mangaka needs like to not have their manga get canceled. So they're like rushing in the beginning to get out their ideas and like lay the groundwork. I don't know. There's all sorts of reasons why it might happen, but that was why I took away half a star for this one. Like, I think most of my other 4.5s I've just given, actually probably all of them, not for any specific reason, but just because the 5-star ones have like a special feeling. But this one was good and solid, but it's a little bit laughable that we found Zeno so easily, and they didn't have to try to convince him to come at all. He was just like, you guys have good food, yeah, I'm coming. Okay, fair. That also fits with his character, but like, give us some sort of struggle, let us like settle in a bit more. But I understand, so I digress. Anyway, this volume it's like the first chapter and the last chapter follow the gang, and then the middle 4 chapters begin what the author calls the Suwon arc, and we follow Suwon as he visits the Earth Tribe. So we saw Suwon in Awa, and he actually came to like take down Kumja, but you know, the pirates did it for him, and he lied to his generals and was like, oh, The pirates did it and like hid Yona, okay? I mean, the pirates part wasn't a lie, but he was just like, oh yeah. He didn't mention anything about seeing Yona. And then he went to the Earth Kingdom to go check in with Guante, the Earth Tribe leader. And Guante has just been chilling. He's been super lazy. He's super into battle, so he hated King Il. So he's hoping that Su Wan is gonna be like an experienced fighter. But Su Wan is very like presenting himself as super like lightheaded, kind of like he just trips everywhere, and he's like, wow, I love this tea that your wife made, and like stuff like that. I won't go into it because this clip is getting really long. By the end of this volume, Guante and us as readers can see that Su Wan is like calculated behind the scenes, but is really good at presenting an innocent front, which does, you know, track with everything we've known about him before this. Another point I want to make is that it's also a little bit silly. There's this prophecy that Iksu gave them at the beginning, and also in volume 8, the gang goes back to Iksu because they're like, now we have to gather, the dragons gathered, now we have to wait for this sword and shield to appear, because this prophecy is basically like, the 4 dragons are gonna gather and the Red King will awaken, and like, which is like the spirit of the Crimson Dragon. When the 4 dragons are gathered, then the king's sword and shield will awaken, and then they can fight off the darkness, basically. And like, it's obvious from basically the jump that Yona is the reincarnation of King Kiryu, I think is his name, the red dragon. She is clearly the incarnation. She has red hair. She's always compared to the Dawn. You know, it's there in the prophecy, we know. So it's like, I didn't even mention it before this because it's so clear, but the characters are like, huh, maybe the king that is referenced in the prophecy is Su Wan. And it's like, no, like, Yona's not a king. It's just because it's the masculine word. Like, anyway, so there's that, which is a little bit silly, but it's okay. I'm bearing with it. I mean, we all know. But I'll let my girl Kusanagi cook, okay? But then the other part, the sword and shield will awaken. I feel like it's super obvious that the sword is Hawk because he does the fighting, but he's not one of the dragons. And the shield is Yoon because Yoon does medicine and cooking and everything else that they need to like survive. They go to Iksu and Iksu's like, these things will happen in time. And it's like, I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. So I'm just waiting for the story to like grow and progress a little bit more. But meanwhile, I am really enjoying it. I'm just like, okay, come on, let's get into it. So I'm having conflicting feelings where I'm like, no, slow down. I want to like work with this and like, you know, like I felt like it was too easy the way we met Zeno. But then at the same time, I'm like, are we really still stuck on this dumb, I mean, it's not a dumb prophecy, it's a cool prophecy, but it's like, we know the answers, and it's kind of frustrating to read, and the characters are like lagging behind when you know the answer, if that makes sense. But anyway, obviously still loving this story. I think, what episode am I even on of this show? I'm on episode 8 of the show now. I think I'm like quite far behind. I haven't been watching it much, but I'll let you know if anything super slay happens in the show. I mean, it'll be something I've already seen. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when I've read volume 9. Hi, so unfortunately, I have been a little bit bad at updating the vlog, but I've been keeping up with my reading. I just read volume 11, but I think I last checked in at volume 8, so I haven't talked to you in 2 days. Sorry. But I figure, you know, this vlog is going to be long enough. And I don't know if this is even going to shorten it. me talking about a couple volumes together, but whatever. Anyway, volume 9. Okay. Volume 9 is a lot about... Can I even remember? Volume 9 was really good. I can't remember if I gave it a 5 or not. I think it was either a 5 or a 4.5, which is what they've all been. In volume 9, we get the beginning of the the Dark Dragon and the Happy Hungry Bunch, which is their bandit name. A couple things are obvious. So Su Wan is a better guy than like the beginning portrays him as. Like, yes, he does kill Yona's dad, but he's got redeeming qualities. I don't really believe in that much redemption for Suwon. One of two things is gonna happen. Either they're gonna work with Suwon to make the kingdom a better place by the end of the series, and like it'll be kind of like Hawk, Yona, and Suwon are all reunited again, or potentially Yona's just gonna take back the kingdom. But somehow Yona's gonna be ruling Kuka Kingdom, and that's just how it's gonna go. But right now, they're kind of like, she's like, I think I can do more good when I'm not on the throne. I don't really want to, you know, face Suwon. So they become a little bandit group, but they're like good bandits. They're like Robin Hood, but they're like, we have to get people to do what we say, so we're gonna pretend to be mean. But like literally, they're like threatening people. They'll be like, it's actually so cute and hilarious. They go steal their people's taxes back because they're literally dying because that's not funny, but they're literally dying because they're too poor and they like don't even have the money for taxes. So the happy hungry bunch takes the taxes back and gives them back to the people, but they like threaten them so that they have to take it. They're like, take the taxes back or else I'm gonna hurt you. It's just so dumb, and I love them. I love the whole group so much. I'm really excited to see what happens with Zeno. I need to figure out his powers, but I love him so much. He's so baby. He's so cute. But also in volume 9, we do actually get our first glimpse into what Shina's powers are, the blue dragon. I love him. I think blue and yellow dragons are probably my favorite. Everyone else is like out of town, and for some reason Yona's in trouble and Shina goes to help her, and he uses his power. And basically what he can do is like, if you look into his eyes, he can paralyze you. He's like Medusa, but he also like inflicts this like existential dread on his victims, and it's almost like in their mind. It's like psychological torture, right? They can see a big dragon looming over them in their mind, and they're getting like dismembered and shit. But like in real life, Shina's just staring there looking at them, and they're like, oh my god, my arm, and their arm is fine. But Shina also has this like bloodlust and like, you know, real, that just fell. Shina also has this bloodlust that makes him like almost unable to stop. So we get this like scene where Yona stops him, and it's like quite sweet. And his power is a double-edged sword. We have heard that before, but basically he gets paralyzed for a while after he uses it. That's really interesting, and I'm so excited to see his character explain more. It almost makes me cry anytime we get more information about him, because he's been so ostracized all his life and just like called a monster, and it's so horrible. In volume 10, something starts to happen, which I don't know how I feel about it. So Taejun, I don't know if I've talked about him. I'd imagine I did. He was the general that like pushed Hawk off a cliff and all that stuff. And the first scene we ever got with him was him trying to like essay Yona. And I never believe in redemption for those types of characters. Like, you know, like Tyler in the Vampire Diaries or Chuck from Gossip Girl, like they both have the same thing where their first scene is them trying to essay someone and then they're supposed to get a redemption arc. Like, no, I don't accept that, okay? And Taejun, it's like, this is the only one that could possibly maybe work on me, but it's still like, I don't want to be fooled. Like, yes, he was 15 when he tried to essay Yona, but at the same time, I don't think that should be an excuse, like literally at all. Oh, but I don't know. But I think I might be wrong, maybe, possibly, about my whole sword and shield theory, because it's like the amount that Taejun is drawn to Yona is weird. And he's like, he literally like goes insane. He like can't, he's been a mess since he thought he killed her. It's like he physically needs to be near her, and it's very similar to the dragon stuff. But maybe it's just that he's actually so obsessed with Yona, which is kind of funny. I love Yona, but like, no, actually, I love you. Actually, yeah, that tracks, that everyone's obsessed with her. It does, it makes sense. I take it back. I don't know. He's sort of like, that's like his arc is volume 10, and I just don't really know. I'm all for good character development, but like honestly, if he doesn't treat women well, I don't know. I just don't really believe in like letting characters that have tried to essay people have redemption arcs. I'm sorry. I just don't. So yeah, let me know what you think about that, because I'm sure the fandom is probably divided, and I want to like get into more like seeing what people think, but I'm afraid of spoilers. So I'll probably look into that when I'm caught up. I think I did give volume 10 5 stars, even though I was conflicted. Probably like a 4.75. Because I was conflicted about Taejeon, but at the same time, there were lots of like really good moments in it. And I think it captured like the heart of Yona of the Dawn very well, where like the characters are so pure and trying to do the right thing, and like they care for each other so much, and it was just like really sweet to read. But at the same time, I was like, I just don't want this guy to get redemption. The volume I read today, 4.5 stars, volume 11. Guys, I'm not really sure how I feel about Yona and Hawk. Is that bad to say? I don't know if that's like popular or unpopular in this fandom. I feel like the fandom's probably divided. But the thing is like I love their relationship, and then Hawk does some weird shit and I don't like it. Like he's always like making her uncomfortable and like touching her when she doesn't really expect it. And it's all just a little bit. And like I just don't know. Like the whole series has kind of like some moments that are like a little bit questionable. This volume has like a flashback to when Yona's 6 and then she's hanging out with Suwon and Hawk, and they're both 9, and she is like kidnapped by this guy and is trying to be like taken away to be sold, which I will get to that. But like they're Suwon and Hawk are telling this whole group of guys, like they're trying to get them to look for Yona, and they're telling him her description, and Suwon's like, oh, she has really big cute eyes. And then it said that like after that all the guys get really excited that they're gonna look for her. Like she's 6. That's I don't know, there's something weird about this, and I love this series so much that I do kind of like push this to the side, and I will own to that. I do. But with Hawk and Yona, I just don't really ship Yona with anyone at the minute. The only one I might is with the blue dragon, with Shina. But I mean, he also barely talks, so I don't know. I think it's sweet, the relationship with Hawk and Yona. Like, I know they really love each other, and I like that. But as soon as Hawk, he just does some weird shit. He makes her a little uncomfortable. But this volume is, like, the first time we've really focused on it for a whole volume. Like, it's still not, like, the main story. I'd say that the main story is still much more about Yona's personal growth and, like, the fantasy storyline. But this volume is the first time that Yona kind of, like, sees Hawk as a guy that she could potentially be interested in, and they go to the Kai Empire, which is really cool and interesting, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But it's just I feel so conflicted about Yona and Hawk. I just don't know. The first 2 chapters in this volume were the flashback, and I have some things. Okay, so I liked the flashback, first of all, but I have one big issue with it, and that is Yona literally almost got like human trafficked when she was 6 years old in her own city, like the castle city. And you know, she's not really allowed outside the castle, so like this was like her exploring with Hawk and Suwon. But this happened to her, and she's still that naive growing up. Like, I just feel like that would affect her some way. So I feel like this was something that the mangaka didn't have planned at the beginning of the series, which of course, you know what, that is so fair. But it's like, I feel like you can't really put that in now, because this event, which we've now flashed back to and spent 2 chapters on, clearly had no impact on Yona at all, which I think doesn't make sense. Like, if I was 6 years old and I was almost human trafficked, I think I'd remember that, and I think I'd have a pretty hard time getting over it. And I don't think that if I was Yona, I would just be like, oh, my kingdom is so perfect, and I don't really know how the world is outside. What do you mean, girl? You just got kidnapped in the light of day on your first outing out of the castle. Make it make sense. I don't know. That bothered me. Honestly, this is a lot more so about Hawk and Suwon and their relationship, which I swear to God, is no one else getting the homoerotic tension between Hawk and Suwon. Like, they both are like obsessed with each other. They're like, oh my god, you're so cool, I want you around all the time. Basically, Hawk discovers that Suwon is like friends with the like the mob of the castle city. That's how they're able to find them, is like Suwana like has an inn there and then like mobilizes the whole group. And at the end, they're both just like fangirling over each other. At the end of the second chapter, Hawk is like, Suwon, like, you're just so cool. And Suwon is like, Hawk, no, you're so cool because you're like so menacing and you're so great in a fight. Suwon says to Hawk, he's like, it's funny because like you're one of my best friends, but I feel like I don't know you, and my goal in life is to like know you more and like be more like you. And then Hawk's like, that's not a worthy goal for you, you should aim higher. And I'm like, are they not in love? It's all giving challengers. I'm sorry, now everywhere I look I see challengers, but come on, like, they should just be a throuple at this point. I mean, actually, I don't really want Yona with either of them, but like, before everything happened in the first volume, they should have just been a throuple. I don't get what's really holding them back from that. So anyway, I have a couple annoyances that are really emerging in these last couple volumes, but I still love the story so much that it hasn't really, as you can see, affected my ratings. Maybe it should, though. I don't know. I'll think more about that. But yeah, really loved it. I've also been reading it while listening to the Zelda soundtrack, and highly recommend. All right, I will check in with you guys probably tomorrow. Bye. I'm filming from here again. I feel like I look like a little boy right now. Oh, whatever. Guys, guess what? I got a job. I got my summer job. I'm gonna be working at a pub. I had a trial shift today and it went well. Oh, so I've got a job now. Anyway, it is the next day and I just finished volume 12. I loved this volume very, very much. This one was very much focused on the politics and the political intrigue, and we ended it with like a war about to begin. I don't know if it's like a war, technically maybe a battle, but a big battle. Basically, this one was about the alliance that the Fire Tribe and the Kai Empire, well, the Sun province of the Kai Empire have, and their attempts to overthrow Suwon. Both the Fire Tribe leader and the Sun province guy both are like, they are selfish and ready to kind of betray each other, but it was just so good. And then another thing I really liked about this volume was we got a couple bonus chapters at the end, which went into Kija's character and backstory a little bit more, and I really liked that because I think that's been something I've been wanting to see for a while. And we also got to see this cute like big brother kind of protective side to Jaeha, and that was really great. So I really loved this volume, and Yona is gonna try to go to Kuka Castle to stop the Fire Tribe and the Kai Empire from invading. But I think that she and the group are gonna be stopped on the way when they see everyone else, and they're gonna, I would assume that they're gonna join the fight, but I feel like that's a really bad idea. Like, Yona, it should be kept a secret that she's alive. I really love the more like political intrigue, fantasy aspects to this. So I really, really enjoyed this volume. Look at me giving you guys such a short update. I'm so proud of myself. I'll check in tomorrow when I've read volume 13. I haven't read volume, 13? Yeah, but I just watched episode 12 of the anime Blindfolded Dragon, and I am a mess. I'm trying to just eat my ramen and my kimchi, and I can't because I kept like crying into my ramen. It's the episode with the Blue Dragon's backstory, and it was Oh my god, I'm ruined. I loved Blue Dragon so much, but actually his story makes me so sad. I don't really think I'm okay. It also doesn't help that I'm eating a kimchi ramen. And it's kind of spicy, so my nose is running anyway. I'm gonna watch episode 13 now. Just wanted to check in. This series is so good. But Jesus, that was so fucking sad. Hi. Guys, it's been a while. It might have been almost a week. I'm not sure. I have been very bad at staying caught up with Yona. It's really just not going to plan. Part of the issue was at first that my health has not been very good lately. I have a bunch of different like chronic health things and I've got chronic fatigue. So for a while there, I was just kind of sleeping a lot, but I still felt so horrible all the time and so tired. And no matter what I did, like I just felt awful. So I wasn't super motivated to do anything. And then kind of resulting from that, I have gone down a complete K-pop wormhole. Like I'm obsessed now and I will just watch music videos or interviews or reaction videos for hours. So that has cut into my reading time significantly because it's all I've been doing. I've also had like a couple things going on that make me busy. So I'm 4 days behind. I don't have time to read 2 volumes today and I didn't yesterday. But yesterday I read volume 13, today I read volume 14. And then the next 4 days, the plan is to read 2 volumes a day so that then I'll be caught up. I am still committed to this. Consistency is not my finest quality, you know what I mean? So, okay, so volume 13, I made a bunch of notes. Volume 13, volume 13 was really good. Both volumes were really good. Again, sorry about my creaky chair. You probably will know by now that my chair is creaky and I don't have one that's not. Also, a cat scratched me today. I was trying to pet it, and to be fair, I don't blame the cat for being annoyed at me that I tried to scratch it. Okay, so in volume 13, we get the battle that we had like been prepping for in volume 12. Yona doesn't show up. I mean, she does show up on the battlefield, but it's not really anything like you might expect. You do get to see exactly how smart Suwon is. I mean, we've kind of been seeing that a little bit over the course of the series, and it makes me feel conflicted because he's super smart. He has, from what I can tell, quite good intentions for the people of Kuka Kingdom. And is it Kuka or Koka? Kuka sounds a little bit silly. It sounds kooky. But I don't know, like it seems like he could be a really good king and like he's going to be a good king. But at the same time, like, why did he have to become king that way? And I was thinking about it in the shower today. And I was like, if he had just married Yona, he could have become king anyway. And he kind of seemed like he was in love with Yona. So like, he could have just done that. I get it that he wanted to avenge, oh, no, that's what I forgot when I was in the shower, was that he wanted to avenge his father's death. So, okay, never mind. But it's like, I kind of like him because he's super smart and stuff. But obviously, he killed Yona's dad, like, right in front of her, which is a little bit not great. But I was really impressed with Suwon's, like, war strategy. It was really cool. And he just absolutely, like, decimated the Fire Tribe and the Kai Empire's, like, united troops. And I loved when the Earth General and his army came and joined as reinforcements. I really like the Earth General. I forget his name, but he's really cool. I don't know, he's kind of like, he's just chaotic. He's like a very tough guy. He loves war, but he'll only like serve a king that he respects. I probably talked about this when I talked about, maybe it was volume 11 or somewhere around there. Like, Suwon has like earned his trust, and Suwon is constantly being underestimated because he can come across almost like effeminate. He's a little bit girly pop and sweet. Like, it's like Zeno, the way that Zeno's sweet and cute. Sometimes Suwon is like that. But he's super cold and calculated underneath, but also still empathetic. It's all very confusing. I don't really know if like I should be sympathetic towards him. I don't think I am. It's all very complicated. The mangaka is really good at making really complex characters, which I love to see, but I'm so conflicted on how I should feel about them because they're so complex, which is probably a really good thing, to be fair. I was shocked when Yona not only did like the Happy Hungry Bunch, they fully joined the battle and attacked Sujin, the Fire Tribe's forces from the back. Yona directly spoke to him. So now like the secret, I can't remember if the secret's out. Oh, this is the thing. Okay, so I was like, oh my god, the secret's gonna fully be out that Yona is alive. But like Suwon doesn't really address it. Like the people that saw kind of know, but they're almost doubting their own sanity because they saw not only Yona, but the 4 dragons of legend. And that would mean that Yona is King Hiryu. And so some Fire Tribe soldiers are like, but Sujin claimed that he was Hiryu. Seems like we were wrong. And I was gagged when one of Sujin's like soldiers just killed him because he like betrayed the Fire Tribe and honor and all that. The war scene, the couple chapters where that was happening were super interesting and really well done, I thought. Oh my god, and Hawk saw Suwon for the first time since the betrayal. Bro, I would be so mad. And I didn't know, I think we just found out, that eagle that is always following Suwon around, and it also kind of like represents him as a person. He and Hawk actually like raised it together, and it was like their pet. And Yona's like, oh, did you see the eagle? Like, what's his name? And Hawk was like, I don't remember an eagle. And I'm like, babe, that is so sad. I also really liked that, I don't know, Taejun, he's starting to win me over. Okay, like he's just so dedicated to the people. And regardless of motivation, I feel like now it's a lot more about the people than it is just about wanting to make Yona happy. Regardless of motivation, like he's so dedicated. And it's so different from the way that he was raised that you do have to respect it. Like he really changed his whole entire life. I liked that in volume 13 we did get to see Taejun and what's his brother's name? I don't know. Oh, Kyoga. We get to see them kind of dealing with their father's death, and I hope that we get to see more of how this impacts their relationships with each other, because now obviously there's like a shift in power. Sorry, I've been talking so long. You know, I like it. I like what we got to see. And I, again, like the mangaka is so talented in making things complex. Like I didn't like Sujin, but you see the way that it affects other people and it makes you feel kind of sad about what happened. So well done to her, honestly. I'm really excited to see what Zeno's powers are, but for now he has just been kind of laying low for the most part. And I thought it was really cute that Yoon like thanked Zeno and said he appreciated him because Zeno like stood in front of Yona and Yoon and held a shield. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I just can't wait to see what happens with Zeno's character. He's so cute. He's so baby. Moving on to volume 14. Sorry, I know this clip is really long. I liked it a lot. I think I gave this one 5 stars. I think I gave both of these 5 stars. And this one we go to the Water Tribe, which I was so interested to see how that was gonna be. And we got introduced to some new characters that I really like. Lily, the daughter of the Water Tribe general, is one of them. She is very much like rebellious, but also can't really back it up. Like she's like, oh, I want to help the people of the Water Tribe because they're facing like this drug epidemic. Her dad is like, no, you can't do that because trade with the Kai Empire like keeps our economy afloat, and the Kai Empire is the one that's supplying the drugs. And then she just decides to go out and have a look at this town where the Happy Hungry Bunch is anyway, to try to, you know, stop this. But, you know, when she gets there, it's like she's pampered, she's a princess, like she's not really doing the most. And she's amazed by Yona. And Yona is just so cool. I just love her so much. There's a scene in this where there's like this brawl and Lily gets punched in the eye and Yona does a kick and like kicks him in the head. How are you jumping like that, girl? You're like a kangaroo. I loved this one. I won't say too much because this clip is so long. I really like Jae-ha and Hawk's relationship. It's really cute. It's like older brother Hawk. I mean, Jae-ha is kind of like an older brother to Hawk. And even though Jae-ha thinks he likes Yona, it's so complicated to tell if the dragons actually like have romantic feelings for Yona, or if they're just horny, or if it's just their dragon blood. So who knows? So Jae-ha's kind of like trying to make it happen for Hawk and Yona, but at the same time, like, he's jealous. I don't know. I like Jae-ha a lot. And oh my god, and Zeno got involved in the little brawl as well, and like tried to save Yona. He did not succeed, but he tried, and it was just really cute. I think I'm gonna really like getting to see Lily more and her attendance. I hope that we get to see more, because even Yona herself was like, oh, it's nice hanging out with girls. Like, if I was Yona, I'd be so lonely hanging out with guys all the time. Like, I know that they're friends, so maybe not lonely, but like, I would miss having girls around to like gossip with, and that's what we got a little bit of it in this. So very excited to read volume 15 and hopefully 16 tomorrow. I'm gonna try my best, but I do have plans tonight, so I don't have time to read anymore. Thank you for watching this very long update. I'll see you tomorrow, I swear. Tomorrow. Hi, to be honest, I think it's been about a week. I am dreadfully behind in reading Yona of the Dawn. However, I do have a plan in place to catch up by, I think in the next 9 days, I'll be fully caught up if I can just read 2 volumes a day, which I think is actually going to be quite easy because I've been doing all right with that the past couple days. I have updates for you, however, on 6 different volumes. I have notes. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because I've probably said before this video is going to be ages long, but I'm going to go into it a bit. So, volume 15, all I have is Soo-won's arrival stressed me out, and I'm trying to remember what even happened in that volume. So we were in the Water Tribe arc, and there's this drug called Nadai going around, and Soo-won is also there to kind of, I guess, investigate whatever's been going on. And obviously the Happy Hungry Bunch are there, and Lily's there, and Ayura and Tatora, her maids. And I just love the new characters we got in the Water Tribe. Like, I love Ayura and Tatora. I kind of have a crush on Tatora. She's just, I don't know, I don't usually like blondes, but she's cool. And I love Lily and Yona's like blossoming friendship. And also Lily, if I didn't mention before, she is the daughter of the general of the Water Tribe, and she really wants to help out with everything that's going on in the tribe and like be actually of some use to her tribe. She's basically the Yona of the Water Tribe, and she is doing the same thing that Yona wanted to do, where like she was incompetent and pampered, and now she's like trying to actually learn how to do things, although she hasn't really started to learn to fight or anything like that. Her dad is always like, peace, we need peace in the Water Tribe, but like the peace is going so far to where it's like he's just letting his people die because he doesn't want conflict from other places. Okay, that was longer than I thought it was gonna be about volume 15. Volume 16, I said I love Lily. Might be in love with Tatora. I've already said these things, and it's true. I love the end of the Water Tribe arc, and like how even though things are really hard, they had to work together with Soo-won. I don't know, I really don't want to be forgiving him, but like I don't know, he definitely does a good job as a king. However, I was buzzing. I was so excited for like a showdown between Hawk and Soo-won, and it didn't happen because everyone else like got in the way. But I did actually really love how like protective Hawk was in this volume. When there was this one scene with him and Yona where I actually kind of shipped them a bit, and I think as the volumes are going on, I'm starting to kind of ship them more. We'll see where that goes. Oh my god, volume 17 was crazy. It was so sad. So sad. Wow. So basically, the group was traveling. They like split up from Lily, and then they met this kid that lived over the border of, I think, the Kai Empire, and he like stole one of their rice balls, and then Piku or Ao, whatever we want to call him, he like tried to fight the rice ball thief. They went to his village with him to like get him home safe, and basically there was a big war on the border between Kai and Kuka. The village that this kid lived in was like a very contested space. Like sometimes it'll be in the Kuka kingdom, sometimes it's in the Kai empire. Like it's just always switching. We started to learn a lot more about the dragons in the last couple volumes, which I really love. Specifically volume 17 and 18 were like amazing volumes. I just feel like this series is getting better and better as it goes on, and I'm so obsessed with it. I need to continue watching the anime because I've kind of fallen back, but I've also been watching Love Island now that it's that time of year. But I should be all caught up with that today, so maybe I'll watch more of Yona. I think I'm on, what episode am I even on? It's been ages. Episode 13. So I still have a ways to go. The soldiers, like, they have a really quick battle, the Kai Empire and the Kuka Kingdom. But, like, the Kai Empire gets defeated so quickly that they, like, out of spite, decide to go raid this village that everyone's staying in. And the dragons, apart from Zeno, have been sick. And we learned that, like, the farther that they get from the castle and Kuka Kingdom in general, the more susceptible they are to, like, disease and stuff. So their immune systems wane to, like, that of a small child. But in this volume, we finally learned about Zeno and what his power is, which I was looking forward to so much. And I really loved how the tension was so built up for that. Like, I think for the longest time, we were just waiting, and I was getting so curious. And it's really cool. So, okay, so everyone's a little bit sick, but even though they're sick, the dragons decide they're gonna defend this village with the help of Hawk, and they're all trying to do it, but, you know, they can't, because it's like, it's the four of them, like the three dragons and Hawk, but like the dragons are all sick. They eventually like are all injured, and there was I was like tearing up during this because I actually like thought they were gonna be like seriously in danger. Like I was not happy about that. And then Zeno goes out and just like gets stabbed, and you're like, oh my god, like he is going to die, he's going to die. But no, basically Zeno's power, it's crazy. When he goes into battle, he can get cut apart really easily. He has some like fight skills, but not like the power and strength and stuff that the other dragons have. His body can heal itself. Even if like his arm is chopped off, it'll like reconnect to his body. And when it does, he gets like dragon skin, and then it gives him all the strength of the other dragons except for the blue dragon. But he will have like the power in his hands of Kija, or like the power in his legs of Jeha type of situation, like superhuman strength. And then like over time after the battle, like his skin goes back to normal. So crazy. And also he's immortal, which I love immortal characters in books. I find them so interesting, so sad. I don't know why everyone's backstory in this is so sad. Like all the dragons, it is heartbreaking. Zeno was like the original yellow dragon, and he's never gonna die from what we can tell. And it's so cute. We find out that like when they were all kids, he would go check up on all the other three dragons, and like, oh god, it's adorable. I loved that. I love Zeno so much. I think Zeno and Sheena are my favorites, but I have a special love for like each of the dragons. I think my least favorite for a long time was Kija, and he probably still is, but I've grown to like him more, especially learning more about the way he grew up. I think I've like just really developed an appreciation for Kija, and I think he's really funny. So, and then I want to think about the legend because I'm still a little bit unsure. So Zeno was saying like, I can be your shield to Zelda, right? to Yona. And I'm like, oh, so is he the shield in the legend? Because it says the sword and the shield will awaken. But it's like, I think the legend also mentioned the four dragons, and then it says once the four dragons are there, the sword and the shield will awaken. So I don't think Zeno can be the shield in the prophecy. I don't know. I'm thinking, I don't really know. I still feel like Hawk could be the sword, maybe. But he hasn't really awakened. Like, he's just always been there. But there's something about Hawk that isn't really human. Oh, also in this volume, we discovered that Yona is, like, the reincarnation of King Hiryu, which we already, like, it was very obvious. But Yona was like, oh my god, really? But I'm just a girl. And I was like, babe, oh, come on. Anyway, that was so long, but volume 17 was amazing. Volume 18 was also incredible. my first little note is just, yo, Zeno is sick as hell. And then I was like wondering why he was holding in his backstory the whole time. Basically, he just doesn't really like violence. Like, King Hiryu once told him that it's good that he doesn't really fight. And so he tries not to have to use his powers, but he's like the one that will be there if everyone else is not doing well, which is kind of sweet. We get to see the original dragons and their backstories, and it was all like sad as you'd expect because it's like his friends died and he could feel them dying as well because of like the dragon connection. Oh yeah, lovely volume. Volume 19, oh, I actually just have 5 to talk about right now. Volume 19 was cute. It was a bit of like a break in terms of it felt a little bit more like fluffy and kind of fillery, even though it's definitely leading us in a certain direction. So we had like a 3-chapter kind of mini arc. I don't want to go into it. It was fun. Not much like really happened, but it was fun. The gang runs back into Lily and her maids, and they decide to continue dealing with the Nadai problem. Lily discovers that people from Sai, which is like a country below Kuka, are shipping it into the water tribe. So it wasn't just the Kai Empire, it's also the Sai kingdom. They're all gonna go to the Sai Empire to deal with that, but they went to this water tribe village, and it looks like they're running into trouble there already. Yona's just gotten kidnapped and Lily got drugged, and everyone else was looking into like suspicious gang activity. So we'll see where it goes in volume 20, but I am having such a good time reading this. I really just need to get back on it. I did this 24-hour readathon, guys, and it took me a whole week because I was just gonna do it until like the timer went to 24 hours, but I just had a really hard busy week and it took the entire time, so I barely read Yona. But those are my updates. I will probably update you guys tonight because I want to read 20 and 21 today. Yeah, see you later. Hi, once again, it has been a while, and once again I have 4 volumes to update you guys on. It's harder than you guys would think to read a volume of a manga every day. Actually, maybe you would think that's hard. And discipline apparently is not my strong suit, so I think I can still finish this on time. Today is the 20th. Oh, it's midnight. Okay, well, it's almost the 21st, and I can't remember the day I'm supposed to be finishing, but like, I've made a plan. I just never end up being able to complete the plan because I have other things going on, such as my part-time job. Depression is a big one. Time killer. General lack of motivation that comes along with that. Applying for jobs, full-time jobs, which I haven't even started. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it's hard. We're going to volumes 20, 21, 22, and 23. I have my notes yet again. Volume 20. Oh my gosh, okay. This one was kind of crazy. My notes are that I can't believe Lily and Yona are actually slaves. That's crazy. Yeah, basically, they were, I think in chapter 19, they were like going, I don't know if it had started by then. I think, yeah. So this, what am I saying? So volume 19 ended with Yona getting kidnapped. Like, her and Lily got kidnapped. And they got taken to this, like, slave working... Can you tell it's late? They got taken to this fort, which is... There's apparently, like, 2 forts. And I forget where it's this. It's the Sei Empire. Sai? Sei. The Sei Empire. They're at one of the forts, and it's, like... they've just got the Sai Empire. The Sai Empire has all these slaves that are building these forts, and they are giving them Narai wine, which is like the drug, to keep them going. Because basically when you become addicted to Narai, which apparently it's like very, very addictive, you become almost like impervious to pain. So like oftentimes the gang will be like fighting these people that are addicts and they just don't feel pain. So they keep fighting like after a normal person would. Like they're not superhuman or anything, but it's just like they don't really feel pain. They're also only giving the slaves in these like camps Narai wine as opposed to water. And it's hot. Yona and Lily clock pretty soon on that it's Narai wine. It's not just like normal wine. So they're really trying to hold out, but they're getting all weak from like heat exhaustion and stuff like that. The boys' takeover of the slave camp is so slay. They really ate that. And they did, it's true. So the boys at this point, like the rest of the gang, they're all super stressed. So are Totora and Ayura. Totora still can't fight because she got like injured at this thing. So she stays back in the water tribe. But basically the rest of the gang and Ayura split into these two groups and they each go to one of the forts. However, during the nighttime, Yona and Lily escape. Like they escape so easily. It's kind of too easy. Also, if you can see how shiny that is, I kind of semi-burned my hand when I was making dinner tonight, which is very sad. And you know what else is I have a 2nd degree burn on my stomach that I got when I was being dumb at work. And anyway, I need to stop babbling. I need to cut this short. You don't need to know every detail, but Suwon is there again. He's always running into them because it's kind of like, at first glance, you might think, okay, this is like simply too much. Like they're just running into him all over the place. But then it's also kind of like they're trying to solve the country's problems, and so is Suwon. So Suwon's always traveling around. And also, if there's a chance that Yona's gonna be there, like Suwon never passes it up, so he kind of just always goes. He gathers like everyone, like all the heads of tribes, all the different generals, except for the fire tribe general, because I think he's busy. They like go to take over the forts, and then during battle, like Hawk runs into Mundok and Taewon, the new Wind tribe leader. So he's like running into basically like his family and Hyundai, and it was so cute. Like at first, like they couldn't really believe he was there. Oh, it was just adorable. I love the Wind tribe and I love all that. This is going on way too long. Last note is no Lily, because basically she and Yona are like on the run and they're in the woods, and Lily is really struggling because she's like on the verge of passing out from dehydration. Yona like hurts her leg and these people are chasing them through the woods like to bring them back to the camp, and Lily sacrifices herself for Yona. I love Lily and Yona. Their friendship is amazing. Volume 22, that was way too long. I'm gonna try to make it shorter. Ayura stays slaying. Look at her trying to rescue Lily from execution when it's just her versus a whole bunch of soldiers and one of Sai Empire's rulers. This is true. So I don't know why I felt like I needed to validate that. Yeah, Lily's captured. She's about to be executed. It's really dramatic. And Ayura is there because she was fighting with like the Happy Hungry bunch, and she literally, like, Lily's on this tower, it's massive, and she's about to be hung like 100 feet in the air. And Ayura is just down on the ground, far away, and still is like, I have to fight. Girl, what are you gonna do? It's you by yourself. There's not even, like, the guys aren't there. I don't know what happened to them. Anyway, very nice. Oh, God, this is like the tension between Suwon and Hawk. And Yona, for that matter, like, they never have a conversation. They'll meet up. They're like, oh, hey, you know, there's tension, but nothing is ever aired. And it's like, it's starting to get to me. Not in like an annoying way, but it's like, oh, this is so angsty, but like, please have a chat. Especially Hawk and Suwon. I know like Yona, yeah, she's got issues with Suwon as well. Obviously, he killed her dad. But I kind of feel like they've reached this weird sort of like truce where they both just have like the country's best interests in mind, and Yona has basically said as much. But like Hawk and Suwon, like Hawk is literally like, I'm gonna kill him next time I see him. And like people have to keep holding him back. And Suwon just stands there. And then like they don't fight because people keep holding them back, but they still don't talk. And I'm like, girl, we need to see a conversation. Oh my God. Next note, not the hairpin drama. The hairpin drama in this is crazy. You remember that hairpin that Suwon gave her all the way back in the beginning? I didn't even know she still had it. Basically, when they took Yona's stuff and enslaved her, like they took her hairpin and she was keeping it in this nice little case. And I thought she like fully bought a new hairpin at this market, but I guess it was like the case that she bought maybe. But like Ayura maybe gives it to Hawk and is like, oh, we found this like in Yona's stuff. Can you like give this back to her? And Hawk opens it and he's like, yeah, I can do that. And it's like, girl, the look on his face. Oh, and then there's this whole like mini chapter where he like accidentally drops it and then like he goes and rescues it, whatever. Anyway, oh, and all the boys realized that like Yona was kind of in love with Suwon. Anyway, it's so much drama, it's actually crazy. The volume was also really cute because Hawk was like so stressed about losing Yona, because mind you, they're missing this whole time. Like Lily and Yona is like the reason why the Happy Hungry Bunch went to the forest to try to rescue them. They're not there because they already escaped. And then when they find Yona, Hawk gives hugs to Jaeha and Zeno because they found her, and he like never shows affection, and that was really cute. Oh, another thing, like I wonder how long Suwon can get away without killing Hawk. Like Judo is really pushing it, and Judo's like his advisor. He keeps being like, babe, not babe, you know what I mean, babe. Why don't you kill that guy? Like he's a direct threat to you. Why aren't you killing him? And it's just like, Suwon, like how long can you get away with being like, oh, I'm the king, so you don't have to tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Zeno. Hi guys, so I'm editing the video right now, and actually the rest of the footage in that clip got corrupted or something, and I've tried to restore it and whatnot, but it is not working. I can't recover it. So unfortunately, I will not have my thoughts on volumes, like the end of volume 21 or 22 or 23, I believe, in this video. I'm so sorry. It has been so long now that there's absolutely no way I could like try to give you any thoughts. But I just thought I'd pop in here and let you guys know what was going on. But the video will resume with, I believe, volume 24? Hi guys. Really long time no see. It's been a month. I completely failed my little mission. Honestly, I was just kind of going through it. I've been really stressed the past month. I've been dealing with a lot in terms of like future life planning. Just this past week, I decided, well, it wasn't really a decision, more as like a reality. I have to go back to America after 3 years in the UK. I've like built a whole life for myself here, and I can't afford a visa to stay. And that's kind of just that. So yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if this lighting is just really weird. I don't know. It's kind of like there's a spotlight on me. But yeah, basically it's been really hard to even like edit or get anything out. One of the bright sides is that when I go back to California, I won't really have anything to do. So I plan on really actually trying to go back to posting once a week like I was kind of doing that in 2023. It wasn't always successful, but I was definitely posting a lot more than I am this year. And I like always am thinking about how much more I want to do on YouTube, and I just never have the time or like the mental capacity. Right now I'm writing an essay because I have to do a reset for one of my exams, which is fine. I'm kind of glad about it. Kind of glad about it actually, but it's just, I've been really busy with that, with working. My family's coming soon. So I've got vacation for 2 weeks. So yeah, I feel like the next several videos you see are just going to be me being like, oh, I wish I could post a video, but I'm busy because of XYZ. Like, yeah, that's kind of the way it is. For the first time in a month, I did read a volume of Yona of the Dawn today. I actually just finished volume 29, so I realized I have, 6 volumes to update you guys on? So I'm gonna try to keep it relatively brief. I feel like I want to just do kind of, as we're going on, I know this video is like monstrously long, so I think I want to do more so like summaries of like really important bits or like notes that I think are important. So I've tried to narrow down my notes that I took. So we'll see. So starting from volume 24, and also I apologize, I read all these volumes except for volume 29 a month ago. Genuinely, I looked to see when I had finished volume 28 and it was June 24th. Now it's July 24th as of 2 hours ago. So yeah, it's been a full month and I can't lie, I've not even been reading much outside of that. We were dealing with all of the, Zing Kingdom stuff. So some like complicated political maneuvering. I can't remember if Yona and the gang were like captured at this point. I think they might have been free. I couldn't really gather it from my notes. We do find out that Minsu is alive, and Minsu was the guy that helped Yona and Hawk escape, and I was always wondering about him. I knew he'd be alive or like he'd come back, but it was kind of like, yay, we're happy, and then a fake out, because it was like, it really seemed like he had betrayed them and he was working for Suwon, but really he like didn't know. I think he thought he was just like helping a friend or telling a friend some information, and then it turned out that friend was a spy or something. But yeah, he's working for Suwon, but he like kind of has to, otherwise he's gonna die. And then he offers for Yona to kill him because he blames himself for her father's death. And then she says that he already repaid his debt when he helped her and Hawk escape. Yona just being like a graceful, like she has like the picture of poise as always, and it's really sweet. And she doesn't hold grudges. Maybe I could learn something from her, because I hold grudges like no one else. Anyway, oh my god, yeah, Yona kissed Hawk in volume 24. And this is, over these next couple volumes, I went on a whole journey with Yona and Hawk. Honestly, during volume 24, I was shipping. I was like, you know, you've probably seen it. I've recently begun to ship them, or I had. And then I start getting really annoyed after this volume. So Yona basically kisses Hawk. She gets worried because he draws back first, but it's just because he's like surprised, because no one's really expecting that to happen. And it's a little bit like unexpected. He just thinks that like she didn't mean to, which is stupid. Like obviously she meant to, okay? That seems a bit dumb. I'm still conflicted about how I feel about Taejun. On the one hand, he's always being helpful and like he's Yona's little like slave basically, which is kind of fun. And he's very girly pop, but yeah, I just still don't know. This series has me all types of conflicted, because you really see like morally gray characters, and I love that, but I just never know how to feel. And life's so much easier when you can sort people into good or bad. And so this is what I appreciate about this series, but I'm also like, stop trying to make me like people that like do things I categorically hate, you know? So Suwon is like worried that the Kai Empire is going to invade, and I feel like the Kai Empire is up north and then Zing Kingdom is like south, and he's trying to invade Zing so that if Kai Empire invades, like he has like more strength to fight against the Kai Empire. Oh, and then I wondered about this. I looked it up on Reddit, and I think I found someone also saying that they thought this. I can't really speak on it because I am not autistic and I'm nowhere on the spectrum, nor am I really close with anyone that is. But I feel like Mizari is potentially autistic or neurodivergent in some way. A lot of the times he does crazy, like really violent stuff, and then he genuinely doesn't seem to understand that what he does is wrong, or like he really can't take social cues. So I thought that was interesting, and I feel like that was definitely something Kusanagi did on purpose. For what reason? Je ne sais pas. And Mizari was super slay, and it's like, he's just so unhinged, and he was like, oh, I would, he tells the dragons, I would eat you guys. to like gain your power if that was a thing. And I would like drink your blood. And I'm like, girl, just say it to their face. That's crazy. Volume 25, we meet the evil high priest Gobi. I hate this man. He sucks. I actually thought he was a woman most of the time because he's just like wearing a little nun thing. But yeah, evil old man, awful guy. Zing Kingdom is in this really like tumultuous time where the separation between church and state is a bit complicated, but the church is like really highly funded. They want Tao, Princess Tao, to be queen, but really they're just like, they've got a lot of money and power and they think that they can control Tao and they can't control Corin. I have a crush on Corin. She's so cute. Well, I don't know about cute. She's like fierce and slay. So yeah, we're just in Zing Empire. I need to go faster. It's killing me. One of my notes said, I do feel for Corin. I like how Kusanagi makes us really understand the motives of the major players, even the ones that might have been cast as villains at first. Oh, Hawk apparently took another era for Yona. And this is when all the 5 stars, which are like Zing provinces, like crazy warrior guys, start dying, and it's actually really sad, even though they're like our enemies. It's really sad. There's this big battle. The gang is reunited. Algira, of course, his favorites are Sheena, Pikyu, and Zeno, and it's just so cute. Every time he sees them, he'll call them like Shinanyan, and Nyan is like, I looked it up, it's like kitten, because he's obsessed with cats. It's just so cute. What a little trio, or a group of 4. Shina uses powers, which is slay. I was crying because of one of the 5 stars' deaths. I think it was Naguro's. And I was getting so worried about Kija and Jaiha's injuries. Like, they had been injured for the past volume and a half or something. And I was like, when do they get to rest and recover? Like, I feel like when I'm reading this manga, I'm like, I get so worried and so invested. Like, I'm always crying when I read this because I feel like they're actually just my friends. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh my god, they've been injured for the last couple days or however long I've been reading since they were injured. Kind of silly. And I know that we got some Wind Tribe content in that one as well. Oh, and at the end of volume 25 is when the big thing happens where the dragons just like come out of their bodies to protect Yona. And it's like these spirit dragons. It's crazy. And apparently it's like their big secret power. And I love that we're still... Ooh, sorry, I'm trying to fix this angle. I don't think that actually did much. Oh, okay. I love that we're still getting crazy, like, major dragon powers in volume 25. And I don't feel like it's too overpowered. Like, I think the circumstances have to be really special for this to happen. Volume 26, we first see the anti-war faction and, like, the priest become really obsessed with the dragons. The 5 stars... Is it the 5? I think it's the 5 stars. Their members keep dying, and it's really sad. And it's like a bunch of battle scenes in this one. Hawk left, and he and Yona needed to communicate, according to my note. Oh, and the boys, yeah. So like, the dragons and Yoon can see that Yona is like stressed about the situation with Hawk because basically they kissed, and then Hawk was like, "Oh, we gotta talk after the battle," and she was like, "Oh, about what? Oh, da da da," and then he like goes somewhere, I can't remember what he does, and she's like stressed because they still need to have a conversation, and she's like worried because he pulled back from the kiss, and she's like, oh my god, what if he just doesn't think of me that way, because she's blind. And the dragons and Yoon are all crowded around, and they're like, obviously you guys like each other, like just tell us how you feel. And then she tells them how she feels, but she's still, she just can't manage to tell Hawk. Hawk comes back. I think he just went to go gather firewood or something like that. And then he like tells her he likes her. And then the volume ends, and this is where my annoyance kicks in. Volume 27 starts. Apparently after that, they just went to sleep, and Yona didn't say shit. Like, what do you mean? The guy you like just said he likes you, and you're just like, time for bed, I guess. What? Babe, I just don't, like... This is where it actually becomes too stupid and too prolonged. Like, you're telling me Yona is, like, super brave when it comes to battle and can communicate her feelings clearly to everyone. and even Hawk most of the time in a friendship way. But when it comes to this one thing, she can't. Like, I guess theoretically that could make sense, but it doesn't. Based on who Yona is as a person and how close her and Hawk are supposed to be, like, I don't believe that after she kissed him, he tells her he likes her, that she would say nothing. Oh, it's just annoying to me at this point. That really pissed me off, I can't lie. And it actually, I remember I rated, I think volume 27 and 28 like lower just out of spite, just like 4 stars instead of 4.5 or 5, because I was just, I was that annoyed. It was bad. Another random note I guess I made during volume 27, I've noticed that Shina is coming out of his shell. Like, he'll go without the mask and he speaks a bit more like as the volumes go on, and I just think that that's really cute because you can tell he's getting more comfortable with everyone. The whole Kai Empire like invasion thing is still going on. Yeah, so it's a lot of like big storylines converging. So like the Zing Empire thing, or the Zing Kingdom, I don't know, just ended, but that storyline is very much intertwined with like the big story, which is that Lee Hazara, who we dealt with in the past, has teamed up with this other guy, and this other guy's actually more powerful. I can't remember his name, but that's who we're dealing with right now. They're trying to attack Kuka Kingdom, and they're invading from the Fire Tribe in the north. So that begins to happen in this volume, and we start to learn more about the shrine and how that's connected to the dragons as well. Because I think it mentioned in the past how like when the dragons get farther away from Kuka Kingdom, like they start to get more weak, and the shrine is like really the place that like that's like the center of their power. So I think they have to make a trip back in sort of close to Kuka, like their capital Kuka, to help the dragons heal for a bit. Why is my phone greasy? That must be it. Anyway, Lily and Suwon are chilling at the palace. I was really wondering if it was like a real like will they won't they between Lily and Suwon, but I think that in a really heavily coded way, Suwon is saying to Lily that he's gay, because he like says how he's never interested in romance, but then we see how he is around Hawk. I'm just saying. And then Lily actually says that a lot of people think that he's gay because he never dates anyone. We'll see. It's all kind of like up in the air, but I think Suwon's gay for sure. And apparently the evil priest did something, because I just said, shit, not the evil priest again. Oh yeah, Kaesuk, who's like Suwon's advisor. In my note I say, I really don't like Kaesuk. He literally just almost ran over a child, which is true. He's like riding on this chariot, and then there's a kid in the way, and I forget who saves the kid, but like someone has to come save the kid. Like he's just about to in the streets of his own capital city. Yeah. In volume 28, there was some sort of mention of Yona's mother. I forget who it was. I think they're in the Fire Kingdom, because they go to the Fire Kingdom to help fight back against Kai Empire, and they meet Taejun's mom for the first time. She doesn't say much, but she's got this like, oh my god, where's my fan? My fan in here? I feel like I've been using it lately. I swear to god, if I've lost my fan, I will probably kill someone. No, surely not. It's okay, it's here somewhere. Anyway, apparently she knew Yona's mom. Some kind of supernova. Guys, do you like my hat? I'm sorry, it is 2:20 in the morning. I think that's why I can't speak. What a great time to update the vlog. But yeah, I got this hat from work. It has the name of a beer we sell on it, and it's got George on the top. And it usually just sits on the light I have right here. So I thought I would wear it. I'm not really a hat person. I kind of just kept this one for the memories. Okay, anyway, volume 28. We know that Fire Tribe mommy knew Yona's mommy, and I want to know more about her, and I think that we're gonna learn more about her. Things with Kaesuk are really getting heated. Like, he's very much against Suwon's kind of strategy of just ignoring the fact that Hawk and Yona are out there. Like, he's a little bit suspicious of Suwon because of that. And fair enough, finally. So, the evil priest Gobi allies himself with the Kai Empire. He decides that he wants to control the dragons, regardless of who he's working for. So he allies with Kai Empire, and he basically sets up Gobi, Ogi, who's our, like, informant slay guy from Kuka Kingdom. And volume 29 begins, the one I read today, with Ogi taking Yona and I think Yoon, Zeno, and Jeha out of the castle to, like, go see something or go talk. And obviously they trust him. He's like, guys, I'm really sorry. And then they get ambushed. Ogi is, like, seriously wounded. Hawk figures out what's going on. And basically Gobi, the evil priest, and the new evil guy that is allied with Lee Hazara. They've captured them. They want to use Yona and the dragons to win the fight against Kuka Kingdom. Yona continues to slay in this volume. Honestly, reading this volume after such a long break was so nice. I was worried that I would have to work really hard to, like, remember what was happening, but I actually read the first chapter of volume 29 several times and just kept leaving it because I felt like I didn't have the time, or I think it stressed me out because I was reading it for a video and I knew I wouldn't have time to work on the video and whatever. But it was so nice to go back to reading it. Like, I just missed it so much. I was laughing, I was crying, I was just chuckling, honestly, and I was listening to my Zelda soundtrack. It was a great time. But yeah, Yona continues to slay. She really kicked Gobi in the head when he came at her with a knife. Come on, girl. Like, you've got no weapons. You just kicked an old, elderly priest in the head. I mean, to be fair, you should have. And it's great, but how do you even do that? Algira remains to be cute. Hawk is turning into a massive softie. Like, he keeps hugging everyone and saying thank you and stuff. Old Hawk would not do that. And you know what? It's cute. And, like, Hawk is getting really stressed. He's really worried about Yona. He doesn't really want the other dragons, like Zeno and Kija and Sheena, to help him as everyone's going to battle, because he knows that the Kai Empire wants to capture them. So he's taking all this weight on his shoulders and he's getting so stressed. And then he has to ally with Kaesuk and, like, the Fire Tribe, who are leading this march against the Kai Empire. Kaesuk, say what you will about him, and I will, but he does care about the welfare of Kuka Kingdom, so he's kind of going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they remain safe. So, I can't take myself seriously with this hat. I gotta take it off. Basically, their interests align, and oh, it's really cute. Like, Sheena and Kija sneak into the battle, like, in the back lines, just to make sure that Hawk isn't getting too stressed. Like, they have complete faith in him, and they don't really seem worried about the outcome of the battle. They're just like, oh, Hawk has been, like, overworking himself lately. It's cute. And Jeha is injured and still fighting, and the dragons are kind of, like, on opposite ends, because basically Jeha agreed to go out and, like, bring the other dragons back, because this guy is, like, directly saying, like, hey, I got Yona, I'm gonna kill her unless you bring the other dragons to me. And then, you know, we've got Sheena and Zeno coming over, and they're like, hey, we're trying to fight you guys, and, like, we're here to save you. And then Jeha's like, I gotta keep my promise, like, I gotta fight, otherwise Yona's gonna die. So now they have to fight each other, and I feel like they're gonna, like, willingly lose, or, like, Zeno and Jeha are gonna willingly lose or something. I don't know how it's gonna play out. What I thought was interesting is that, you know, usually in these big moments, Suwon shows up as well, and they're all converging. But this time, his presence was still very much felt, even though he wasn't at the actual battle, because Hawk actually, like, led the army for the Fire Tribe and everyone, and he used one of Suwon's strategies. And Kaesuk noticed that it was Suwon's strategy, and he was like, oh, where's Suwon? And people were like, nah, that was a Thunder Beast order. And Kaesuk is like, he may be the most talented warrior we've seen in 1,000 years, or something, which is someone said that to him a long time ago. So interesting. We've left on a bit of a cliffhanger. I love the way that Kusanagi does big battle sequences. She'll draw like the little troops, and then you can see like the plan of attack, and they say like the strategy, and you can see how the strategy changes as the war progresses. It's really cool, and I love this series, like war fantasy aspects. Like the plot is just so strong. I've got beef with Yona and Hawk right now, and it's pissing me off. If they keep dancing around this shit, I can't. No more. Stop. I'm not gonna make any promises about how much I'm gonna be reading, because right now I got an essay to write, got my family coming next week for a vacation, which will be fun, and then I've got 2 weeks to move out of the UK, which is sad. So my priorities for the next month are kind of like enjoying the rest of my time here and getting done the shit that I gotta get done. So yeah, I'm not gonna set myself any goal in terms of reading Yona. I am gonna do my best though, because I mean, I enjoy it. Like, I'm gonna try to read it when I can. I also really need to finish the manga. Like, what? I'm on episode 14. I'm just so far behind. Oh, I'm not behind because it's all out, but like, I feel like I should have watched it already, but I've been watching Love Island and a bunch of 17 contents, K-pop content. So yeah, anyway, love you guys. I will see you later. And you know what? This time, hopefully it won't be a month before I see you again. Peace. Once again, it's been ages. I am so sorry. I cannot remember the exact number of volumes I have to catch you up on because I'm not reading from my notes this time. I'm back in California now. Hi, I've literally moved, and I have some news pertaining to this series. I went to Barnes & Noble and I got the next 2 books I have to read for this. So volume 33 and 34. I am going to be starting my collection. I have to do it. I bought these full price at Barnes & Noble. I mean, they're $10. I'm going to try to find other ones online for cheaper, especially the first couple volumes. I feel I can definitely find on Pango or something. I'm going to read the next 2 physically. I just think it really does add to the experience. It's so much nicer than reading scans online. To give you brief thoughts about the volumes I haven't caught you up on, I can't really remember. It's been a little while, but I know that the gang is definitely back at Kuka Castle, and oh my god, no, we found out that Suwon is sick and he's gonna die. And honestly, lately I've been doing a little bit better at hating him. Like, I just really don't. He killed Yona's dad. He did, and I feel like he didn't have to do that. I know he wanted to like avenge his father and stuff, but like, he didn't have to kill her dad. So I don't really have much sympathy, but Yona is feeling all sorts of complicated ways. She and Hawk are finally like together, but she has complicated feelings about Suwon's death, which I think anyone would. And she's feeling complicated feelings about being back in the castle. They're very much prisoners. Like, they got kind of taken into this as like they would be allies, but they're prisoners, and there's so much drama, and I'm kind of loving it. I will give more detailed thoughts once I finished these 2. This vlog is taking so long to complete, but to be fair, there are 44 volumes, and I'm really excited. I have some physical copies now. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Hi, sorry if this background is a little bit weird. I'm still trying to figure out where to film in the house because I'm in like the sun porch area, but I have all these curtains that are kind of just clipped up to hold them in place. Anyway, that's not really relevant. Hi. I just finished volume 37 of Yona of the Dawn yesterday, so I have updates from volumes 33 to 37. Obviously, I read 33 and 34 physically, which made me so happy. I love the fact that I own a couple of these now. It's making me want to buy all of them, but I just don't. I've probably said this before. I don't know how to sustainably and cost effectively buy 44 volumes in a way that won't break the bank. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some for cheap on Pango and Depop and eBay or something. But yeah, read volumes 33 and 34. These were such good volumes, especially volume 34 is crazy. We're still in Hiryu Castle. We're dealing with Suwon's illness, and you know, Yona's grappling with that. She and the dragons and Hawk and Yoon are all kind of like separated from each other in the palace. And in volume 33, the cover actually really goes with the story, which is not always the case. She's looking through all this stuff in Suwon's office. She finds Suwon's mother's journal. And so in the last half of this, we do get the beginning of the journal, and then we get the rest of it in volume 34. Volume 34 might be my favorite volume I've read ever in the series. That's a big statement, but it's really, really good. And it made me go through a whole bunch of emotions. I was sitting at this coffee shop I like to go to across from my mom while I was reading this, and I was crying and then laughing and then like crying again, but kind of out of happiness. It was a lot of emotion. So in this volume, we follow the rest of Suwon's mother's story. We finally get the reasons why people did what they did and exactly what happened. So like, we know now why King Il killed his brother Yuhan, right? And it's really sad. It was really sad. Basically, Suwon's mother was a member of the Red Dragon, like, clan, and obviously they have the Crimson illness, so she passed that down to Suwon, and that's why she died. And it's all very complicated. I don't know if I'm gonna go into it all because of how long this vlog is, but it's really complex and really heartbreaking. The relationship between King Il and Yuhan and how complicated that was, especially with issues around the priests and Yuhan's love for, I forget her name, oh my god, for Yeonhee, Suwon's mom, and how that kind of led to the destruction of his relationship with King Il. And Yona's mom, we finally know who she is. She is a priestess, and she actually kind of helped raise Iksu, the priest that we know. Yuhan wanted to execute all the priests because they kind of wanted to exploit Yeonhee's background and like find all the Crimson people, the people suffering from the Crimson illness, and they wanted to find the Crimson Dragon like city, which Yeonhee specifically said she never wanted them to find it. Like, she really wanted to protect those people. So Yuhan just killed all the priests, and Yona's mom, Kashi, I think is her name, and Iksu got away. And King Il ended up marrying Kashi. And Kashi could see the future. She could see that Yona was going to become, like, that Yona was going to be the reincarnation of the Red Dragon. I feel like this is so hard to explain without going so in depth, but I hope that you can follow this. But basically, eventually, Yuhan found out that Kashi was an ex-priestess, and he kills her. And then King Il kills Yuhan in retaliation, and then takes the throne. And it makes sense. It makes sense, like, why that happened when Il was usually such a violent person. And then we get insight into Kaeshuk and how he actually witnessed Yuhan's death and how it like emboldened him and made him want to raise Suwon into the way he is. And we see Suwon as like a 9-year-old kid. Terrifying. He went and examined his father's corpse and like is already calculated and cold and planning to be the next leader. Yeonhee is scared of her own like child. So it's really interesting to get all this backstory, and obviously Yona gets it at the same time too. So she gets kind of a new perspective on things, which is really interesting. And then at the end of this, she completely owns it. Like, there's this meeting that Suwon is supposed to be having with the like ambassadors from South Kai, and Yona goes in his place because obviously he's too sick, and she just kills it. She dominates. Like, she is finally being allowed to step into a place of like national power. Like, she's back in the castle and she's back in her element. And over these last few volumes that I've read, kind of beginning in volume 34, she is working as like a diplomat basically, and everything, it feels like, has been leading to that sort of eventuality. So in volumes 35 to 37, a lot happens. There's a war with South Kai that's brewing. Obviously they've been like, the borders have been tense for a long time. We actually get to see Kalgan again because he's obviously in the you can see my dog. He's in kind of like the first line city. Like, he's in the city that's basically always under dispute at the border. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So when all the ambassadors like meet with Yona, some of the South Kai ambassadors poison another one who was like not in line with all their beliefs, and they frame Yona for it. And then they start a war over it, even though it's like clear that they did it. So that's all happening. We meet a character named Mainyan. She actually also has the red sickness. She's a general and a like consort to King, I think his name is Golgan, the leader of Kai. And she tries to like meet Suwon and relate to him. And he's kind of like, I'm not interested. Like, I don't want to talk about this sickness. Not that he's made his peace with it, but he's kind of like, I'm tired of talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. So she becomes kind of a prisoner because she does all this stuff. Sorry, there's a lot to sum up. I really got to check in more often. But she has this cute little, like, it almost seems like a little, like, a winter squirrel. Like, she's really cute and demure. Her name is Ho, and I think her and Ao might start a little squirrel relationship, which is very cute. Or at least friendship. It was adorable. Anyway, so she also has a crimson stillness, and she's kind of crimson sickness, and she's kind of a prisoner at the castle, but Yoon is also trying to like heal her and Suwon, and Yoon is officially now, oh my gosh, what is his name? The other one's apprentice. I will put his name in. I can't believe I messed that up. Yoon decides to go to Captain Jigan and back to the Earth tribe where Jaeha's from, to get the Senju herb and try it on Suwon and Mainyan. So he sets off to do that. Hak goes with him, and then we later find out that Zeno already knows that the herb won't work, but he's like, even if I told them it wasn't going to work, they wouldn't listen to me. Like, they want to exhaust all their options as doctors. Yona is asked to go to the war with Suwon, who's insisting on fighting, and if Suwon dies, she's supposed to like lead the army basically. So she's stepping up into this higher position of power, and Kaeshuk is actually really trusting her with this. I think he sees that she's really capable. I'm so divided, mixed feelings about Kaeshuk, but yeah. Oh, also, this was kind of crazy. Suwon calls like Zeno, like basically calls Zeno into his office and is like, do you want to be the king like when I die? And Zeno's like, no, I don't want to. Which honestly, Zeno, like, I understand why Suwon would think that. Like, Zeno's like really wise and all that stuff, and he's immortal, but like, nah, he doesn't want to be king. And then Zeno was like, have you even thought about Yona? And Suwon was like, no, I hadn't considered her. And I'm like, buddy, stop underestimating her. Like, she's not the girl that you used to know, and clearly you can see her growth. Like, please recognize it. The last chapter that I read, so volume 37, it was kind of heartbreaking in the last half. So basically, yeah, Yoon and Hak are on their way to get the Senju herb. They're going through the city that Kalgan lives in. This city starts being like berated by attacks from Kai soldiers, and one of their generals in particular, Hak, like stays behind to fight and protect the city Eventually, he's still fighting. Yoon comes back. Hawk is exhausted. He's been fighting like day after day, no break. And oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. Gente is critically injured. I think he's gonna be okay, but he took a bunch of arrows in the back for Calgon during one of the confrontations, and like he's on the brink of death. And I'm like, I love him so much. I love him so much. If anything happens to him, I'm gonna be so sad. Like I love him so much. I think he's doing okay, but he had me scared for a minute. Yoon eventually comes back with the Senju herbs, and Captain Jigon sends a whole bunch of like Jaeha's old pirate friends to come help, which is really cute. And when they come back, like the beans kind of get spilled to all the people in the city that there's Senju herbs that can heal people, and people are like, Yoon, why don't you give that to Guntae? But obviously it's for Suwon, and Yoon can't say anything about who it's actually for because then he will die. So it's a very complicated situation, and it was starting to make Yoon look like a bad person. And then Hawk goes, no, Yoon got those for me, those are mine, no one else can have them, and like kind of took the blame for it. But it's just a very complex situation to be in, and I was like, oh, this is rough, because I don't think that they had enough herbs for everyone. So they're fighting. Eventually Jaeha and Kija come and help fight, but while Hawk is having like a one-on-one duel with this general down in this valley, the others find out that basically the Kai army had built up a big dam and decided to destroy the city in a flood. And they're getting everyone out. It's really stressful. Hawk starts to flee because he knows what's happening, and he looks back, and like the general he was fighting is struggling to get up and is gonna die, and Hawk goes back to help him. He says it's just because he, like, the general's horse won't leave without him. He doesn't want to see the horse die, but like I think it was probably more than that. And now Hawk is missing, and I'm stressed out. And then like Yona puts on a really brave face in front of everyone, but then she breaks down actually in front of Suwon. She's like trying to do research in his thing, and she breaks down and starts crying, and he starts to comfort her, but obviously she's a bit like, how can you comfort me? Like, don't comfort me now after everything we've been through. Like, this is horrible. So it's all just very complicated, and I can't wait to read some more. Also, you know what's so stupid? Final update is that I, for the longest time, have been reading scans, and I didn't even think to download these on my Kindle. Like, my library has every volume up to volume 40 available on Kindle to check out. So I've finally been doing that for volume 37, and now I have volume 38, 39, and 40. There's volumes 41 and 42 also, but they're under a really long wait list. So I'm either gonna buy volumes 41 to 44, or I'm just gonna read the scans online, which is probably what I'll end up doing. Finally almost caught up. It's taking ages, but I am loving the ride, and I'm actually liking taking my time with it. I am obsessed. I really hope that I do get to own more of the volumes soon, but I have to be mindful. I have student loans to pay off. I can't just be buying books willy-nilly, although I kind of have been. So you know what, I'm gonna try to update you guys after the next 2 volumes, just so it won't be like this massive update with so much stuff going on. So I will see you after I finish volume 39. Actually back after not too long this time. It's been like 2 days, so I'm kind of on it for the end of this, at least so far. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. I have just finished volume 39 of Yona of the Dawn, so I'll give you my little recap of volumes 38 and 39. I liked both of them. I think they're both like a 4.5 out of 5. That's kind of like my default rating for Yona volumes when I'm not like they're not outstanding to me, but like they don't suck. So like I do really like the series overall, if that wasn't obvious by the whole rest of this vlog. Anyway, so in volume 38, it's basically like the war volume. So remember, this battle with South Kai is like something that Suwon has been preparing for basically his whole life. Like, he really has been wanting to take over South Kai because that's what his dad Yuhan wanted. They're going into battle. Yona agrees to like go into battle and ride next to Suwon and like support him if anything happens with his health, on the condition that after the war is over, she and the dragons can go look for Hawk, who got lost in the flood, and then their like agreement, their alliance will be severed. So they're going to war. Like, Suwon sees how Yona's suffering and is like, oh gosh, I feel bad because I caused that. Now you feel sorry for Yona? Am I supposed to feel bad for you? Like, I don't know. I remember like in the past I used to think Suwon was like kind of likable, and he's definitely charming sometimes. Like, he's a product of the way he was raised. Like, his dad, we see in this volume, like really taught him to compartmentalize and see people not as people but as pawns for domination, and he's thinking like a general, like a king basically. So it's understandable why he is the way he is, but at the same time, like, it's crazy that he can switch off his humanity like that. It's what makes him such an interesting character. Like, I don't love Suwon, but I think he's a really good character. They go into battle. I've got my notes up. Also, sorry, I know it's probably not the best lighting, but I forgot to film while it was bright out today. Another thing I wanted to point out was that I wonder how it's all going to pan out in the end with the way that the people of Koka see Yona and the dragons as religious figures, which I guess they are, because that's where like their myths and legends come from. Because as soon as they show up on the battlefield, like all the troops are like, they were feeling really helpless before because South Kai's army is like very formidable, and then they see Yona and the dragons and then they're like, oh my god, this is fine, we're gonna win. And I'm interested to see like what the potential consequences of that are. I mean, we've seen a couple already, but mostly from like groups outside of Koka, so I wonder how that's gonna play into things. Hawk is of course alive. He's literally indestructible. I have to say, I find it a little bit hard to believe sometimes, his strength. Like, I'm praying that there turns out to be something supernatural about him, because it simply doesn't make sense. Like, he heals faster than a normal person. He has like superhuman strength and stamina.
You're impossibly fast and strong. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. Your eyes change color. And sometimes you speak like you're from a different time. You never eat or drink anything. You don't go out in the sunlight. I know what you are.
Say it.
There has to be something, because it's a little bit unbelievable. Like, he survived this massive flood. But anyway, he's being nursed back to health by this woman in South Kai and her son, and he's lost the Senju herbs. He's looking for them, and this general, I think, what's the name? General Kaki. General Kaki has the Senju herbs. Basically, long story short, Hawk joins the South Kai army and kind of like goes undercover, because the South Kai people are going to behead his fake family, because the woman in South Kai like claimed that Hawk was her husband to prevent him from getting killed. And then the general saw him and was like, hey, if you don't go back to war, like, you'll be considered a deserter and your whole family will be beheaded, and so will you. So he was gonna put like the woman who nursed him back to health and her son's lives in danger, and so he like went into the Kai army. But then he starts messing things up from behind in like the back of the ranks, and long story very short, like, Koka wins the battle. I love the way that Kusanagi writes battle scenes with like show off the little diagrams for the different troops, like the Wind Tribe army is here and stuff like that, and like we'll draw out the plans. I think it's really good, and some of the drawings in this, like the battle scenes, are just absolutely stunning. Also, another thing is like South Kai is very different from Koka, and it seems a little bit, I hate to use the word barbaric because that feels very like colonialism-y, but they're ruthless. There's like, if you steal something, they'll chop off your fingers. It's like, it's kind of like a rough society to live in. And we see the consequences of that on Maignan, who got beat all the time and would take beatings for Kaki when he was growing up. There's a lot to summarize, a lot that happened in these 2 volumes. Kroka won, but they're still like gonna stay where they are for now because it's kind of, they haven't signed any ceasefire agreements or anything. And poor Yoon is just like waiting back at the castle, taking care of Maignan. Oh, and also there's a really cute like reunion scene with Hawk and Yona and the dragons and everyone. It's really nice. And we get to see like the Wind Tribe come together and they run into Hawk, which I always love to see. So all really lovely stuff. And then we go in volume 39 over to Yoon and Maignan, and they run into Lily. Although I'm finally reading the Viz Media copies, obviously, because they're the ones on my Kindle, and her name is Riri in there. I'm gonna keep calling her Lily, even though that's like the unofficial translation. But yeah, if anyone knows if that's wrong, please correct me down below. But I love seeing her and Ayura and Totora. Again, her name in the Viz Media one is Tetra, so I don't know what's right. So they all get together, and Maignan kind of like clicks with them. She's got some girlies, some friends, and apparently she like never had friends before in her old life. I think she probably kept people away from her because of the crimson illness she had. But Val, her like childhood friend and like sexy general guy, comes to bring her back to Kai. And she's like, please don't take me back. Like, I have friends here. I don't want to get back. I wanted to live the rest of my life in freedom. I was like basically not a slave because she was like wealthy and stuff, but she was in servitude, and her life was pretty limited back in Kai. And he basically like likes her and decides to stay with her. And then it turns out that the capital city is being invaded by the Dromos, which are these like Kai assassins, while everyone else is away at war. And he and Maignan fight back against them. So like now he can't return to South Kai either. But okay, the thing about these Dromos guys are like, they're terrifying. They kind of are giving like the Death Eater vibes from Harry Potter. But it looks like they're flying, and like they don't, like, you can never see their feet. Like it's very Death Eater. Like they just have these little cloaks that like have tatters at the bottom, and like they seem really terrifying, and maybe they have psychic powers. I am not good at reading action scenes in manga. Like I find them really hard to follow. But like, what do these guys have powers? Like, please make it more clear, because I am so confused. And this is the one thing that is annoying me, is like I'm confused by everyone's like ambiguous supernatural powers. Like, people aren't that strong. But is that just a manga thing? That might just be a manga thing, because I've never really read a manga like this. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed these two. This wrap up has been a little bit long, but I'll catch back up with you either after I read volumes 40, 41, and 42, or after I finished 44. I think I'll catch up with you after the next 3 volumes, so after volume 42. All right, see you later. Hi, sorry the lighting is probably bad again. Honestly, it's been hard to film in here during the day because when I moved back home, I moved into the sun porch in my family's house because we don't have like a lot of bedrooms. And right now it's like the end of September in California, but it's like still really hot. And my room is like an oven. Like it's just too hot for me to be in here, let alone film in here. So yeah, I've been like wanting to update you guys when it gets cooler out, but then the days are simply just too hot. Anyway, we are reaching the end. And I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. So I've read volumes 41 and 42. I took some notes. I did read them at Barnes & Noble. Guys, don't do what I do. I just sat in Barnes & Noble and I read them. and I didn't buy them because they were $12 each. And I was like, if I'm going to buy this series and have like a collection, I'm gonna buy them for cheaper somewhere. So okay, basically in volume 40, the Dromos are trying to burn down Hiryu Castle, and we find out that Chagol's whole goal in sending the Dromos there to do it is to get rid of the dragon's source of power. So we obviously know that the dragon's power somehow comes from Hiryu Castle. There's a very important object that is like very linked to their strength, and it's this chalice. And the chalice, it is said, held the blood of the dragon gods that the humans drank to create the original like dragon warriors. And Chagol dresses up as a Dromos and comes with them to like set fire to the city and to steal the chalice, and he succeeds and he kidnaps Maenyan. And also, side note, Val and Maenyan are so cute, like so cute. He's basically like another general, and they've been friends for a really long time, but then she like became Chagol's concubine, and Val was kind of like, oh, I guess she doesn't like me. And they're really cute. So he basically like renounces his whole thing as general to Chagol's face. Mind you, this guy is like a ruthless, abusive, killer monster, just absolute scum. And Val says to his face, because Chagol has like captured Maenyan and wounded her, Val's like, sorry, I'm not your general anymore. I'm not doing it anymore, and I'll fight you for Maenyan. And Chagol's like, that's really disappointing. I'm just gonna take her from you. And like wounds Val so much that Maenyan thinks he's dead. It's also revealed that the noble that died at Hiryu Palace that kind of started this whole conflict was poisoned by Maenyan, which she feels really guilty about. But, you know, Chagol is like really manipulative and threatens her into doing what he wants her to do. And it's really sad to see, because Maenyan's really like strong in other aspects, but it's like someone in an abusive relationship. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Like, she's in an abusive relationship, he manipulates her, and otherwise she's really strong, but when it comes to him, she just has like no backbone. Oh my god! And then I had in my notes, he actually like literally tells her like, see, you have no friends, like I'm the only one that's ever gonna love you or value you. That's so manipulative. That's so mean. It's really cute because Val, like, he says that all in this confrontation. Like, Chagol is holding Maenyan, and he's like, and Val is like across from them, and Chagol is like, see, you'll never have any friends, you'll never have anyone that cares about you as much as I do. And Val's like, actually, look at all her friends here. And she has Yoon, and she has like Lily and Ayura and Tetra, and she has Val, and it's just like a really sweet moment. But she's captured, and she thinks that Val dies because Chagol like really wounds him. Yona like gets a feeling that something bad is happening at the castle, and she wants to go back. And I'm like, Miss Girl, why are you having all these weird premonitions? Like, are we just supposed to accept that? And then literally 2 pages later it was explained, and I was like, oh, actually that makes sense. I feel a little bit dumb for not connecting those dots. But, you know, her mother, Kashi, was a psychic, or like could see the future, and it seems like Yona might have that same power. But what's really concerning is that Yona, I don't know if I mentioned this because I thought it was just a dream at the time, but she had a dream of all the dragons except for Zeno, Suwon, and Maenyan in coffins, which is where I start to begin feeling really uneasy. Okay, this does not seem good. And then Queen Corin from Zing comes and gives reinforcements to the army, and I have such a crush on her. She's so slay. I should have known back, like, I've had a whole realization since I began this vlog that I'm actually bisexual, and I should have known because I have a massive crush on Corin. She's so sick. Anyway, she brings her army. It kind of doesn't really matter. She doesn't really appear much in the next volume, but whatever. So then in volume 42, Val, Hawk, Algira and Valdo, who I love to see, along with the dragons, are trying to get Maenyan back from Chagol, and he brings her to the battle. So they're all back in the battle area, and a lot happens. But basically, oh my god, no, this is 40, 41, and 42. Sorry guys, it's 40, 41, and 42. So that was volume 40. Then Chagol captures the dragons. It's really sad. All except for Kija. Kija gets away. And this is where things are going pretty badly. So Chagol has Maignan and the dragons, and then another general of the Kai army who's really close to Maignan, Kaji, I think, is trying to look for Maignan because he feels like something's off. He finds her, and then he's basically imprisoned and beaten too by Chagol. So Chagol just all around not a great guy. Not really great. There's this big standoff between Chagol and Yona where she shoots an arrow into his chest and it really wounds him. But he... Wait. Okay, so the dragon... Sorry, there's a lot that's going on in these volumes. So, in volume 41, the dragons and Yona and Hawk and Val and Baldo and Agira are all looking for Maignan in like the enemy encampment. And during this, the dragons are about to be captured, all of them except for Kija. And Yona's like, here, take me instead. And they still take the dragons, but they take her too. She's about to be executed. And Maignan stands up for her, which was so slay. And she finally stands up to Chagol and tells him, like, right to his face, you are a stupid, like, dumb bastard. Like, fuck you. Don't like you. Stop. And she finds out that Val's still alive, which is very cute. Algira, Valdo, and Val had all dressed up as Dromos. And, like, she was never in any danger of being executed, basically. So they kind of, like, ambush Chagol, and Yona shoots him in the chest with an arrow. At the last minute, General Ron comes through and saves Chagol, even though he's like bleeding out. So volume 41 ends with Maignan rescued, and she's reunited with Val. The dragons minus Kija are captured and on their way to the Phoenix City, which is the capital of South Kai. But someone in Yona's team sabotaged their carriage, so they probably won't get far. Yona, Hawk, Kija, Val, Maignan, Algira, Valdo, Yoon, and that's everyone. They're all together and they're gonna go save the dragons, or like that's what they're wanting to do, right? Oh, and Chagol at this point still has the chalice. So then in volume 42, we see Ron and Chagol, and Ron actually dies like right in that first chapter of volume 42 because of wounds that Chagol actually gave him for failing to kill Hawk during the flood. So that's rough. And we finally see Chagol feel a little bit bad about something. He's obviously still not in great condition. He's bleeding out, but we see that he has the chalice. And then, so it's like related back a chapter later that both of them are dead and that soldiers found both of their bodies. But for me, if I'm not seeing Chagol die on the page, I don't believe it. I don't think that's the end. And they couldn't find the chalice. So, you know. So everyone's wanting to go save the dragons, right? But Suwon in like this big meeting is like, no, we can't save the dragons. Like, we have to focus on our original rule. We're gonna go push to the capital city and we're gonna take over, right? And everyone's a little bit pissed about that, but they're like, fine, whatever you say. Then that night, Suwon calls out to Hawk and like they meet kind of secretly. And Suwon's like, hey, so Hawk, I want you and Yona to go like before morning and go look for the dragons. Like, you got to do that. That's important. Also, I want Yona to be queen when I die. And Hawk, it was such a satisfying scene. It was so good. Hawk is basically like, are you joking? You did all this stuff to her to remove her from the throne. You killed her father and you made her like a criminal and you've been horrible to her and you betrayed her. And now you just want her to be queen? You could have just married her and all this would have happened for you anyway. And Suwon is like, but the Yona like living at the castle was not the one that, like, she wasn't a capable ruler of Koka. And like, I'm not saying he's wrong. Like, fair enough. But also like, buddy. Did you not see any potential in her? Like, surely she had like the dregs of like perseverance and stuff. Like, we didn't see very much of her back when she was at the castle because that all happened in the first volume, but she wasn't like the worst ever. Like, she had good instincts pretty much from the beginning. And Hawk just got so mad at him and I was really happy about that. Unfortunately, Hawk also finds out now about the Crimson Illness, which he finds out also that everyone else knows but him, that the dragons have like small lifespans. They're gonna die young. If I was Hawk, I'd be feeling a little bit betrayed because everyone fucking knows. Everyone knows but him. And he doesn't know if Yona knows about the dragon's short lifespans, but she does. If everyone found out about Suwon's illness and I didn't find out, I'd be a little bit pissed. You know what I mean? If I was Hawk. So, poor guy. So, Yona, Kija, and Hawk set out, and there's this really sad scene. They ask Yoon to go with them, and Yoon's like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I am Minsu's assistant. I have to stay and, like, treat people in the battle. I can't go. And he starts crying when, like, Maignan and Val find him. Him and Maignan also have, like, a really cute friendship. It's really nice. But he's like, I want them all to be okay. I can't go, but I want them all to be safe. And I think it's hard. Like, Yoon's been separated from the group a lot lately, and he thinks back to how he was, like, the first person just traveling with Yona and Hawk, and I don't know. I need to really look up how many volumes this is supposed to have and when it's supposed to end, because clearly the end is near. Nothing is looking good at this point. Nothing's looking good, because Yona, Hawk, and Kida, they go out, they're looking for the dragons, and they run into Ran and Sonon, the mother and son that helped, like, nurse Hawk back to health after the flood. And while they're staying with them for, like, the night, they see something in the woods, and it's Jaeha. He's not looking very good. He's not looking good at all. He says, and I quote, "I am hurtling towards the end of my life." Does that sound good? And he's looking all weird and, like, kind of goopy and drippy and, like, half dragon. And he's basically like, I'm sorry, I can't come with you guys anywhere. I can't. We're having difficulty shifting back from being dragons to being human. Like, we're kind of caught in this state. Because basically earlier, I forgot to mention this, but they were being attacked and they panicked and they went into their dragon mode. But they were very far from the chalice and far from, like, their root power. So all the dragons are being affected by this, by the chalice being stolen, and they were very far away when that happened, so they're having trouble going back, and they are not feeling too hot. So he left and said, hey, can't come with you. And that's how volume 42 ended. We have 2 volumes left, and I'm not doing well. Not doing well. It did make me cry in Barnes & Noble. So yeah, I'll update you guys probably tomorrow with the last 2 chapters. I think I'm gonna read them tonight, but I'm probably gonna, like, do an outro and stuff tomorrow and collect my thoughts, because I have a feeling I'm in for some more emotion. All right, wish me luck. Hi guys, I'm officially caught up. Finally. I imagine this vlog is like 3 hours, probably something crazy. So thanks if you watched to here. I doubt you did, but if you're here, thank you. This is my final update. These last 2 volumes were devastating, like really devastating. Also, I didn't realize until I was reading the scans for volume 44, it's not even out yet in English. I'm just reading the scans online. So sorry, you probably haven't read it. So I don't know. I guess I will talk about what happened, but it hasn't been published in English, so it feels bad to talk about it. You know what? I'm just gonna talk about volume 43. So, things are bad. So the dragons are obviously missing. Hawk and Yona go looking for them, right? That's where we met off. That's where we left off. Yona is having these, like, psychic dream vision things that are telling her the future. And she keeps seeing Zeno in them. And in one of them, Zeno is holding the chalice. We find out that the chalice actually, like, has the power to, it'll recharge the dragons, kind of. Although we don't know exactly how that happens. And Yona and the others are kind of thinking, like, oh, it's just like, if it's like when they're close to the capital, like if they're close to the chalice, it'll regenerate their powers. So they're like, we gotta go find it. But obviously, like, Chagall is dead. Also, he's actually dead. I didn't believe it. He's dead. I know for a fact now. Yona and Hawk decide to focus on finding Zeno because they assume that he has the chalice because he had it in Yona's dream. We see Sheena in dragon form, or Sina, I don't know, blue dragon. We see blue dragon in his dragon form, and he's confused. He doesn't know who he is or what he is, and he is looking for Hawk and Yona, and he sees Taeyu, who looks a lot like Hawk. They're in the wind tribe part of the army procession, and he goes up to Taeyu, but then he like realizes it's not Hawk, and that's really sad. And Taeyu and all the people that recognize that this is Sina are like, no, don't shoot the dragon. But everyone in the army is reacting to attack the dragon, which, fair enough. You wouldn't think that that is your friend in dragon form. No matter what Taeyu says, like, they do start attacking him, and it's really sad. And then Yoon runs over and he sees what's happening, and he's like, guys, please don't hurt him. But hello? I'm filming.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. In a fit of like panic, because remember, the blue dragon isn't really all the way mentally there. Like, he's very confused, doesn't know what's happening really. He only vaguely like recognizes people, and he doesn't really remember things. He wounds Suwon, who's already like pretty much on the brink of death, so this is not great. Yoon runs up and calls him by his name, and there's this really sad moment where he remembers Yona naming him Sheena, and like the reason why he's there. And then everyone like Kaesuk and Judo are calling for the army to kill the blue dragon because he hurt Suwon, so it's like treason. At first the two of them were actually saying, hey, don't attack him, that's the blue dragon, but then he did that and they were like, no, fuck him, he's kill him, please. And so Yoon tells the blue dragon to fly away where no one can get to him, and he does. Yona has a dream where she sees Zeno again, and Zeno tells her that the end of the dragon's lifespan is coming. What? Sorry, I'm filming, and like you're the second person that's interrupted me.
You keep leaving your
I'm so sorry, girl. I'm so sorry. I'll be out in a bit. Hi, Peppa.
Would you like me to take her?
Yeah, because she's not gonna stay in here. Love you. Sorry, I'll see you in a bit. So yeah, so Zeno tells her that the dragon's lifespan is coming to an end, which feels like a bad thing, and then points her in the direction of Sheena. So Yona, Hawk, and Kija all see, they find Sheena. He's like kind of got these ropes around him because originally the Wind Tribe tried to tie him up. Pretty much like right when they see him, they're really happy. They're like, oh my god, yay. And then Sheena sees Zeno in the distance, and Zeno's like, oh, you found me. And then Sheena disappears. And this is like, I kind of suspected that Zeno was up to something earlier, but I knew it then. I was like, what is he doing? Because this is not good, because we had kind of seen him in other little moments where it looked like he was kind of lurking and following Yona and Hawk and Kija, which is like, you know, similar to the way that he was lurking in all the dragon's lives when they were growing up but not saying anything. And I was like, he's got some sort of plan, and also he's not messed up and unable to like be in human form like the other two dragons, like Jaeha and Sheena are. So what's up? He appears, and Yona and everyone is super happy to see him, and like it's obvious he's hiding something. But before they really have time to like discuss everything, Suwon's bodyguards show up, and they basically departed from the army to go look for the blue dragon and kill him. And these are the guys that like raised Suwon and like were supportive of his dad, and you know, wanted him to be the king. They like groomed him to be the king, and they basically decide that they think that Yona like has Sheena, and she's hiding him because of the ropes that are lying on the ground that Sheena used to be like held in. They also decide that if one of the dragons can transform into like a monster and be confused and like hurt the king, then all of the dragons can. So they want to kill Zeno and Kija, who are right there, And they also apparently overheard Hawk and Soo-won's conversation, so they want to kill Yona because they don't think that she should be queen. Even though that's what Soo-won wants. They think that they know better than Soo-won, even though like they've been supporting him this whole time. Because Yona's descended from King Il, and they really hated King Il because he killed Yuhan. So they're like, no, like his daughter's not gonna be on the throne. And yeah, so there's a fight. Kija's pretty badly wounded, but you know, Yona and the crew win. And then, you know that, it's like a, what is it? It's kind of like a crest that Zeno's always wearing in his hair. He like takes it out. The chalice appears in his hand. He basically seals Kija in it. The crest is like the lid of the chalice, kind of. He opens it. He's like, Kija, it's time to rest now. And then Kija's like floats up and into the chalice, and Zeno seals it. And that's the end of volume 33. Since volume 44 is, or 43, since volume 44 is not out yet, I'm not going to say anything more. I am fully caught up actually in terms of all the digital scans. So I've actually read past volume 44. And it's all it's a lot. It's heartbreaking. I was reading it last night and I was not really okay. It's clear that the end is coming. I'm sorry I'm crying. Lots of sadness going on. Love Zeno. He's a little bit misguided right now. Oh my god. I wish I could talk about it, but I just really feel like I shouldn't. This is the beginning of the end. I think as more volumes are released, I'll probably do like videos on each volume when they come out. So stay tuned for that if you even watch this. But yeah, all in all, this was so amazing. It took me a while. Admittedly, it took me a while, but it was 44 volumes that I read. I feel very accomplished. But this is the only manga series that I've like finished or been caught up with, and I'm really excited to kind of start my manga journey. I love this series so much. I love the characters. I guess my only critiques at this point would be I've been wanting to see more of the Blue Dragon's personality for a long time. I feel like that kind of lapsed and we never got that. Whereas the other three dragons, like, we do know a lot about their personality, and I get that he's quiet, but like, give me more. The way that this series has made me care about all the characters so much and so deeply, and like I feel like they're my friends. Like, I'm actually really distressed about everything that's going on right now. I like can't believe that there's not a conclusion yet, and I just have to live like this. Feels unfair, but this has been a really good experience, even though it's ending in a bit of a like they're like unsatisfying way. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here. I love you so much if you are still watching this, as I know not a lot of people have even read this far, and fair enough because it's 43 volumes in. I'm sorry I'm crying. If you have read this far, leave the emoji that's like sunrise for dawn, for Yona of the Dawn. Consider liking this video and subscribing if you liked this. And if you want to see more from me, let me know if you want to see me reading more manga. I know a lot of the times people that watch booktube aren't really watching as many manga videos, so I don't know how that all works. Maybe if I get really into manga, I'll make a second channel for it or something. But let me know if you have any manga recommendations or anime recommendations or anything. Any videos you'd like me to see, I would love to hear it. So yeah, thank you again. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.